right, there we go. I think we got this working now. Yeah, awesome, cool, cool, cool. Let's get back to painting real quick. I think this is the wrong brush. No, no, no. I'm on the right brush. Have apparently put paint all over this thing, and my brushes are garbage. Welcome to Eagle Star Gaming. I'm your host Crown, and this is my second attempt at trying to get this video to go up today, because I have completely forgotten all of the previous problems and issues of trying to do one of these. And I hope I got it so that everyone can comment should I get anybody in here. Yeah, last time we tried doing this, I was building the Warlord. Nope, I wasn't building a Warlord, I was building a War Master. And I've had some issues since then, but here we are, getting to paint this guy, getting to chat about whatever. And I don't know, I've been wanting to paint. I haven't really been able to paint lately because I don't know why I'm doing that. I haven't really been painting lately because it just seems like there's so much other stuff going on. And I don't know, maybe it's the way maybe it's because how cold it is. You just want to stay inside all the time. But now I am here. I hope everything is loud enough. If there, if there are issues, I apologize, and hopefully somebody can point them out to me. And yeah, we'll just go with that. And I don't know how to get the lighting any better here, so it might just be really hard to see anything. But if you want to see, if you want to see what I'm doing here, I can share that with you. So I am partway through like the first. I don't know how many steps I break this into. Really, I don't know really what the right number here is. But with Titans, I've been painting quite a few of them. I now have. I know there's people with much larger Titan collections than me, but let's see. I've got 3 Warhounds, a Direwolf, a Reaver, a War Master, and a Warlord. And now I'll have a Warlord Sinister. So this is my 8th Titan. Oh, I have 4 Warhounds because I do have a Warhound for the traders. Um, See, I'm not a trader because I don't view the trader part of my army as my army, oddly, sometimes, at times, despite the fact that I have more traders than I have loyalists. Um, but that's okay. Sometimes that happens. You need bad guys to shoot at. Yeah. Uh, but what I do when I paint these Titans is first things first, right? You got to prime them. Well, first you build them, and you build them in sub assemblies like this, right? This is the body with the head and everything going on with it. Here's the legs all put together. Um, Honestly, the Warlord Sinister comes with this extra piece that goes along the back, which was honestly a nightmare because it didn't really fit in properly. And my hope here is that once it's painted, you're not really going to be noticing or paying attention to that. But painting under it and into that is kind of a nightmare. Like you can kind of see in there the little window things. Let's see. Can I get that? Those windows? Like, I'm not going to be able to. Oh, that's why you can't see them. They're not a different color. See these windows on the outside? See how I painted them a different color? Um, I can't do that to the windows on the inside because they're not reachable. Should have done that differently, but here we are. So what I've got is I put everything into subassemblies, and then I prime it, as you do with anything else. And the I had been priming all of my Titans lead belcher because I paint them lead belcher right away anyway. But I ran out of lead belcher for my last Warlord. I actually think I primed it. I started priming it lead belcher, and then I ended up having to come back and finish it with black, what Chaos Black, Abaddon Black, whatever. Um, right away anyway. So like I didn't get to finish it. I didn't get to put down the paint like that. Um, this guy, this time, I am still cleaning this brush, even though I need to keep using it for the same thing. I got two of these things. These are the little shoulder cannons that are going to go over it on it. Um, laser blasters, I think. Let's look that up real quick. Let's look up what these weapons are. But what I did was I primed it all black, and then I came back and I did, I painted as much of the guns and everything. Um, I avoided painting this stuff, the shell and everything, as best as I could. But I just got sloppy with it and just painted it all. The what, lead belcher? I think it's lead belcher is the color I painted. Yeah, lead belcher base. Now for my other Titans, I've then just been going and doing, after I do all of the metal sections, I've gone and done a wash of Agrax Earthshade on everything, and this gun is indeed paired laser blasters. Is what this is. But for the other guys, it's just been Agrax Earthshade. But for this guy, this is a Warlord Sinister. It's a Psychic Titan. I wanted to look a little different, so I went and I did a null and oil on it right after the lead belcher. So it went lead belcher and then that. Now I'm going and I'm putting in the details. I'm picking out some other metal sections with Balthazar gold. Doesn't really come out as a gold, comes out more like a bronze. Is how I feel about it. But which is what I'm looking for here with this. I'm not looking for a gold. I guess you could say it's a very deep, very dark gold, very unpolished gold, but I think it's just bronze. I think they could have called it Balthazar bronze, and they could have been fine with it. Who is Balthazar? Sounds like a wizard. Um, but I'm now gonna pick through this stuff, and then I might do another. I might have another dark, even darker bronzish kind of color. I might put a little bit of gold in there, and then I'm gonna do a wash on all of it again of that Agrax Earthshade. So it will look like a Russian bot. That's cool. It will look like the other guys, but darker. Yeah. We're gonna just get rid of this altogether. Anyway. If you got any questions, you want to know anything, let me know. Feel free to comment below. Don't comment like that guy did. If you're watching this at any point in the future, you'll wonder what that guy said, because I'm pretty sure I deleted that so that it won't be seen by anybody. But just by looking at his name, I'm gonna guess that that's a Russian bot. So, making a small assumption that you know a little bit about Side Titans, about Warhammer, at least in general, right? For anybody watching this, because it could be anybody. Psychic, they're dark, they're wizard Titans essentially, if you think about it. And so I want that darker color to it. I don't think it really came out that much darker though. I think it just kind of came out looking a little bit more greasy and oily. But I think it'll all come together when I get to the panels. Because what I'm going to do for the panels, here, I'll let you guys check out this guy here while I paint. The lighting's kind of terrible, and I don't know how to fix it. Anyway, this is here. I'll just show them to you real quick. This would be the perfect spot for you to see them, but I should get that on a t-shirt, yeah. But Legio Ignatum. Fire wasps, and I love painting those guys because you put those hazard stripes. No, wait, we don't call them hazard stripes here because Iron Warriors use hazard stripes. We call them hornet stripes. Putting those hornet stripes down, it's kind of like it really brings everything together. It looks hard to do. It's kind of I cheat a little bit. I use some painter's tape, and it kind of makes it really easy. This guy, I'm gonna have to like look up some stuff and see how I want to do it. But here's what I'm gonna do: all these armor panels, all these panels, all these things, all those panels that you saw in him, I'm gonna paint them all black. Then, if they're already painted black, but like there's some spots where the black isn't that great. Maybe the metal got on it. Like up here and stuff. These panels are there. Thank you, Benedictus. Awesome, good having you here. Thanks for the comment. Thank you for the praise. What are you working on lately? What have you been painting? And while you type that out, I'll continue on with my plan for this guy. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have the black panels, and then I'm going to paint. I got to figure out how I want to do it. I might do some like splotching or something. I'm gonna do a dark red, not on all of it, on the lower portion, coming up, rising up, and then I'm gonna go with a slightly brighter, and slightly brighter, and I'm gonna work my way up to yellow, to a bright yellow, and I'm gonna have flames. I'm gonna give this guy flame stuff. Astra Militarum, dude, I love Astra Militarum. Have I shown you guys my Astra Militarum? And when you say Astra Militarum, I'm assuming we're talking about 40K, 28 millimeter stuff, right? But yeah, so I'm gonna have flames all over all of this stuff. I don't know if I want it to be on all of the panels or like have it only on the lower portion. I think it's gonna have to be all the panels. Kind of going for like a salamander style with it, but where salamanders flames on green, I'm gonna have flames on black. Kind of like Legion of the Damned. I think because when I'm thinking of these psychic titans that kind of appear out of nowhere and everything, like my first thought was like, dude, Legion of the Damned. Um, Way back last summer, just before I had the chemo, I had an idea on how I wanted to do this, and I completely forgot the entire idea. I had this brilliant idea of like, oh man, this is gonna look really good. I don't remember what it is, so I'm going to the flames. I'm gonna do the Legion of the Damn Flame style. But yeah, I think it's gonna look pretty cool. And I got to get this guy done because I am behind. I thought that I would have this guy finished earlier in the year, and the weather, the snow. We got a whole bunch of snow. We got like 12 to 20 inches, depending on if you count the snow drifts or not. Which is like 12 inches is like 24 years of snow worth in this area. Like every year they get like half an inch of snow, so we just got like 24 inches, 24 years worth of snow all at once. And there might be some more coming up. So I took time off to. I haven't been doing anything this week for anything for painting or anything except for until today, because I've been playing in the snow, and I've been before that I was like I kind of want to play video games and stuff. So I've been kind of the gray penance has been slacking, and I got to get this guy done because this year they are most certainly going to be coming out with some more stuff. And soon they're going to be coming out with any minute now, any day now. They're going to be coming out with that those breachers that they're getting for Warhammer for the Horse Heresy. Those are going to be coming out in Legions Imperialis for sure, for sure. They're coming out with the plastic Scutari guys, pilgrims or whatever for Horse Heresy. And once it comes out for Horse Heresy, we're going to be getting it. We're going to be getting it for Legions Imperialis. And that means I'm going to have to be getting more stuff. And before I can get that stuff, I got to finish this stuff. So, gotta get these guys done. And then I still have to like divide time between painting stuff, playing the games, to actually doing the videos too. And yeah, so I want to get this guy done because he is going to look awesome on the table. And then I want to play some games with him. And I have played one, two. How many games have I played with the War Master? 1, 2, 3. I think I've played 4 games with him now. I want to say I've filmed every game he's been in, so I think it will be. I don't. It might only be three. It might only be 3 games, but one of those games was a really big game. So there's that. But yeah, if you're hopping in, if you're in this hobby, if you're new to the hobby, this is Warhammer. If you're not new to the hobby, what are you painting? Have I seen Benedictus? Have I seen your Astra Militarum? Have you shown me any pictures of that, or do you? You know what I should do? I should give out a link to the Discord. I got a Discord where you guys can hang out, and you guys can hang out, and you can give me you can show off pictures of all your show off pictures of your models. Chat. There's only a few people in there, but it'd be awesome. All right, hey, have fun at work. No problem. Yeah, I look forward to doing some more, and I'll see you next time. And if you want to hop on that Discord, there's a link for you. If not, that's cool too. No pressure. Pressure's for diamonds. But I think it's early morning. Early morning over in Australia, maybe. Yeah, that makes sense because it's late night right here. So that's my plan. That's my plan. If that's my plan on how I'm gonna do this guy. Flames, salamander style. Flames, Legion of the Damned Salamander. Flames. And I think it's gonna look awesome once I finish. I do have like one thought I had was, do I put a little bit of hornet striping, Legio Ignatum style, on this guy, and that way I can kind of use, like, maybe for these weapons. These weapons sit on the shoulders, right? These weapons sit right up here, and I have no intention of gluing them there. They're gonna stay there like that, just like these other weapons, just like these bad boys. Yeah. So I can use them for the other. So what I might do, what I've contemplated, is having the top portion of this kind of morphing into Legio Ignatum colors. So like this panel goes here, right? This bad boy goes right there. That goes here. And there's more panels that connect to it and everything. And the bottom portion of it, keep it black with keep it black, and then have it kind of blend into the hornet stripes. Let me see this question here. Looking awesome, thanks. Looking awesome. Can't wait to see the finished thing. Thank you. I look forward to posting the finished thing. And that's from Willem. And James White says, "How's the push fit? How is the push to fit versus magnetized?" Um, so like, how do I like it? I like it. I like it a lot. It kind of just sits there. They'll pop out. They'll pop out and fall off and stuff. And that can be problematic sometimes, I guess. But I mean, they hold pretty well. They hold pretty well. I've got this guy. That's not coming off. Let me see this other one. These might not. These ones, I don't think these are as tight a fit. Oh no, still good. So yeah, I like it like that. Magnets, magnets are fine, right? If you like magnets, you like magnets. I just don't want to have a whole bunch of extra weapons sitting around. I built these. I built these for my direwolf, and I was gonna do like this whole thing to have them push to fit. Um, because I don't like magnets. And then I decided, part of why I don't like magnets is I don't want these extra weapons just sitting around. Like, what am I gonna do with them? I've got another idea for these. I got another idea for those. You'll see those again at some point in the future. I guarantee it. But where was I? I was over here. Um, the problem I had, I just don't. One problem with magnets I have is I don't want the extra stuff everywhere. And the other problem I have with magnets is there's a small safety concern. I've got kids. Kids eat magnets. Kids eat things, right? And then they end up eating magnets, and then you've got a hospital bill, right? My kids are kind of phasing out of that point. So not a good excuse anymore. I do have somewhere. All right, I can't find it. I have magnets somewhere that I have used in the past, and the issue became they would like pop out of like trying to keep them glued into where they're supposed to be so that they can work, so they can hold things together. It they come out and stuff. Like I wasn't doing it right. It's not necessarily a magnet issue, it's a me issue. I messed up with the magnets, right? I just don't want to deal with it anymore. So I've magnetized a an Imperial Knight, the 40 scale one. I magnetized an Imperial Knight to his base, and then and it was magnets and a washer on the base. And at some point, so I didn't have to line up the magnets. At some point, I don't know what happened. The magnets aren't in the right spot for him to actually stand on it. It's I got to be very careful with how I position him to get enough magnets to hold up his base. It's a very heavy base, to be fair. Um, and then the other thing I magnetized was like a 28 millimeter Predator, and I was magnetizing the sponsons to it. And for whatever reason, like the shell of the magnet, like whatever coating they put on the magnet to try and keep it like together, that started to eat itself up and kind of come apart. Use a small spot of green stuff in the hole, drilled out slightly bigger and deeper if you can, and green stuff over and under it. Over it, yeah, that would probably. I was going magnet to magnet and trying to keep like a clean surface there. Um, Coating it in putty is probably the better way to do things. That would probably solve a lot of my problems with magnets. Um, yeah, I have a bunch of magnets somewhere that I bought, and they're all like the shells coming off. Like I had them for a while. I don't know why. I don't know what I did to them. I don't know why they hate me, but like the shells kind of coming off of it. Um, and all right, this might sound kind of bougie of me, right? And I might be using that word horribly incorrectly, but I have had. I would rather, when push comes to shove, right? I would rather I could have um I could have 2 warhounds, right? And I could magnetize all the weapons, and I could have 2 warhounds with all the weapon options available. I kinda like I kind of it might take a while, right? It might I can't just go and buy everything at once, but I would rather go get the second kit and have 2 more warhounds. Um, that might be like some uh no offense to anybody just using the terminology. That might be like some girl math type stuff though, where it's like trying to justify extra purchases and stuff. What is an octoblade? What's an octoblade? I'm curious on that. It's kind of for me, magnets is kind of like drilling barrels. I used to drill barrels for for the 28 millimeter stuff for Warhammer 40K. You drill the barrels because it looks nicer. And then at some point, it just was like, oh, you know what? This is, I keep messing it up with the alignment and everything. or it's not exactly perfect or whatever, but it's like a whole bunch of extra work to like the results. I mean, they're nice results, I guess, but like I didn't really need it. I didn't need to have it. Um, I didn't need to have the barrels drilled to go play the game, but it does look nicer though. I'll give you that. And I guess to some extent, I'd rather play. I guess the idea that my Titan is stuck with that loadout. You know, he can't just hot swap his weapons in between conflicts and stuff. You know, he's kind of stuck with the loadout that he had when he got there. And I kind of like that idea for my stuff. But but all that said, I'm not trying to hate on magnets, right? But or drilling barrels. It's just not for me anymore. Um, if you're gonna magnetize anything, Titans are definitely something you should magnetize, uh, because they're expensive, and the weapons are expensive. I just don't magnetize, and I probably never will. I will magnetize if the kit is designed to be magnetized and comes with the magnets for it. Team Yankee is a Cold War Gone Hot game. They have helicopters. The helicopters are like this big, right? A little about that thin, the body. The helicopters I was making was the Apaches, I think. Comes with a magnet, comes with a pair of magnets for the helicopter so that you can, and a spot in the fuselage for like that is the connection of your rotor, of your two blade rotor to the main gearbox. That's the connection. That is I'll magnetize that all day. If they came out and they said like, "Here's your magnet for this, and it goes in this slot and it goes in that slot," and they really did, right? Like that's a spot for a magnet, and that's a spot for a magnet. You know, they got it in there. It doesn't come with the magnet, so I'm just not going to do it. It's inventory I just don't want to keep up with. You know, your Octoblade is a Bane blade, but magnetized to all eight very. Oh, is it a 40k? Is that a 40k Bane blade? Because I don't think the I don't know how you do that with with the with the 30. I've seen it done for 40k. I can envision what you're doing. Um, because I have a Baneblade kit that I never put together. Um, yeah, for centering the gun barrels, use a smaller bit first. Yeah, yeah, I know how to do that. I would use a knife and kind of put it in there. Pirate Roy, welcome to the channel. Rogue Trader. How long ago is Rogue Trader, if you don't mind my asking? First things I magnetized were the Legion's Warhounds. You mean Legion's Imperialis Warhounds? And now you're magnet mad. Sounds appropriate. Sounds appropriate. I don't know. I kind of view it like I've probably made this clear by now, but I kind of view it like a D&D character, right? Like you kind of put together your character, and like that's their loadout throughout the campaign. That's kind of what I'm doing there. Yeah. Is there? I wonder if there's a way. Am I supposed to be able to hear when you guys message? Is it supposed to like go ping or something? Hmm. This is like the fourth time I've ever live streamed. The other three times were back before the chemotherapy and everything, and it was for building a War Master. And I think I started to paint it. I don't remember, but I think I started to paint it on a live stream. But it was that was like 3 days of 5 hour long build sessions. Um, as I was putting together this massive Titan. Uh, that was fun. But I don't remember any of what I learned about how to do the live stream. I was having so many technical difficulties just now trying to get the voice to work and everything. I was talking without I was I was chatting without anybody without noticing realizing that nobody could hear me. Now we got it going. I think everybody. It sounds like you guys can hear me because you guys are responding to stuff. But yeah. And then is that? There we go. All right. Cool. 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 There we go. It is. It is snowing here. Sound is fine. Thanks. Thanks, Pirate. Pirate Roy. I feel like your name. I have to say the whole thing. I can't try to abbreviate it. I feel like if I just said Roy, Pirate is like a title. You know, you can't really take that away. Be like not saying Captain when you address Mr. Crunch. Okay, so I think I'm gonna paint that like that. Yeah, let's do it like this. I find that the key to a good Titan is to have lots of is to break up all this metal with not just one color, one metallic color, but a second and maybe a third. Perhaps a cascading effect where you've got a lot of one, a little of the next, a smaller amount of the next, and so forth. But never to a point where there's only one spot with one little bit of. You need something to tie it in, because then it just looks like an outlier, right? If you only have one spot of one dab of green on your entire model, it's gonna look. It might, not always. It might look like it's out of place. So we're just gonna put this over here. Break up all this, and I might use that to cover things up with that. Yeah. I think I'll actually break up this bronze with that. So what are you guys working on? What do you guys think is coming? Let's talk about that. What do you guys think is coming this year for Legions Imperialis? I'm assuming we're all here for Legions Imperialis. Perhaps Adeptus Titanicus, right? Maybe for Aeronautica. What's Aeronautica? What's the rest of Aeronautica's name? Aeronautica Imperialis? No, that doesn't sound right. How does a cold affect my paint? It is very hot and dry here. Can dry paint out super fast, even with a wet palette. Um, I mean, it's going fine. Doesn't seem to be drying out very quick right now. I think it does dry out quicker in the summer. I I learned something. Here you guys go. Here's some useful information for you. I was trying to prime this the other day, I think like a week ago, and I was asking my local Discord channel, which if you want an invite to this Discord channel, scroll up a little bit. I think that'll work. If you can't scroll up, if you can't see it, let me know and I'll post one. I have a Discord channel if you want to. There's a couple of people in there. We chat about stuff. And I was asking the locals, I was like, hey, what do you guys think? Is it too cold? Because it was like under 40, it was like 40 degrees or something. And I really wanted to start painting stuff. I have not tried army painter markers. I might give them a try though. I'm trying to think what I would use them for because I like to keep the same style for everything. And I feel like if I switch over to army paint markers, like that'd be a whole new thing. But I think there might be some things I could use that for. But yeah, so I was asking, hey, can I prime in this weather? And a couple of people said I wouldn't try it. And one person posted this video, posted a link to a video which I cannot remember the name of, but I can probably find and share it with you. And the guy ran a little experiment on priming in the cold, and he wasn't using army painter or he wasn't using army painter paint or Games Workshop spray paint, but he was priming with like stuff that you get from like Home Depot or something from a hardware store. And he did encourage like, hey, check with run your own test for your own for what you use. But in his little experiment, he ran two experiments. One, prime in the cold and leave it in the cold. Two, prime in the cold, bring it inside. And I feel like there was another control to this, or maybe he did it with two different paints. I can't remember. Maybe it was two different brands. I don't remember. But oh no, that's what it was. Um, one of them he one of them he primed twice. He did like a one color prime, and then from an angle he did a second color. Um, it was because it was for terrain. He was painting like these big statues, and the both models primed fine. There was he said there was like tiny, barely noticeable um bubbling, I think, and or maybe that was what he thought he was gonna find. The only difference he found was that the stuff he left outside was still had like a primer smell to it, and the stuff that he brought inside was dry and didn't have that smell. But the primer itself, like the model itself, was fine. So I went outside and I tested it. Now I heated my spray cans up really good, and I had no issues. And I brought my stuff inside. So I primed it out there and then I pulled it into the bathroom, and I turned the vent on so it would pull out all the fumes and everything because I don't want to breathe all that in. And yeah, I primed this guy and it worked really good. I have tried priming in the heat before. You're saying hot and dry? I have tried priming in hot and wet, and that is where I always have the biggest issues. I do not know how to prime in hot and wet. The secret to priming in the cold is to take your spray can and stick it between your thighs and watch a TV show before you go outside to paint. And that is how I did it. That warmed it up real nice and good. But yeah. Uh, I don't think the cold is making it any worse, or I don't think it's making it any easier for me to paint, but it's definitely not making it any harder for me to paint. Um, yeah. Have you ever tried the Army Painter paint markers? I know they sell them at the hobby store near me. I've got two hobby stores. I've got one that sells everything, and I've got one that actually plays the game. And never shall the two twain. Um, so I try to give them both some of my support, some of my money. Um, but the one that doesn't play the games, they have people that play games there, but they're all like competitive gaming and stuff. They're like always doing tournaments and stuff there, which isn't which means they aren't playing Legions Imperialis. They're only playing 40k, and it means that I don't really want to play there. Um, I'm sure they're all fine to play with, but none of them play Legions Imperialis. They sell the Army Painter paint sticks, paint markers, Army Painter paint sticks, paint sticks. That sounds fun. Uh, but yeah, they don't. They have a huge collection of stuff actually that you could get. They sell like RC cars and like kites and like rocket kits. build it at home rocket kits and stuff. And I don't think they have any paintball guns, but I think they have like airsoft guns and stuff. So that's cool. Um, and then of course they got all the Warhammer stuff. They have, and when I say they have all the Warhammer stuff, they buy a bulk of stuff and then they just leave it on the shelves. They have everything there. It is crazy. They've got the like Blamco toys up there. They've got all kinds of stuff. Um, I think I bought I think I went there and got some stuff that was like out of print because they always have stuff there. So they'll have like all this out of print stuff. And that's where I think that's where I got my Warhounds. No, my Warlords. I think my regular Warlords I bought from there um before the game came out, and I just never got around to getting to them or something. But they also had like the wrong size base. They got the old base because they're the oh those aren't out of print any though. They just were hard to find at the time. Yeah, that was like 2 years ago, man. Oh yeah, no, it's off. They got board games and stuff in there too. They have a wall. They have a massive wall of like all these old like books and stuff for like all kinds of different like RPG stuff, rules and stuff. So they got like 3.5 D&D and like all these other ones that you've never heard of that I've never heard of. They got all kinds of stuff in there, man. And they'll have these board games and they'll have it is a big place. It is a big shop and it is packed with stuff. Um I think think like a comic book store except for instead of comic books, it's everything else hobby related. They got the trains and stuff. I plan on going there to get something for my father-in-law. He's gotten into the trains and everything. He turned my wife's room into a train room. Uh which is cool. Um means she's got nowhere to go back to if nowhere to not to go back to. That sounds terrible. I mean like when she goes to visit, she doesn't have a room to stay in anymore. But he's like made this big train thing and he's like putting different pieces of like so he's got his three kids and then there's three children-in-law, so six of us, right? And he's putting like a little section in each part of this train world thing table that you call, I don't know what the name for it is, but so he's putting he made like a little gaming store for me that he's going to put in there. And I think there's like a little farm with horses and stuff for my wife. I wonder if he's got anything for the grandkids though. He's got a bunch of grandkids now, more than when I met him. Um, yeah, no, it's a cool store. It's a cool store. I just wish I could play there. I keep trying to like spark up the conversation of Legions Imperialis, and every time I try to talk to these people about like, hey, anybody here interested in learning about Legions Imperialis? They'll be like, they'll be like, oh, is that the Horus Heresy game? Yeah, it is. And they'll be like, oh yeah, I got a squad I got to paint up still. And it's like, dude, if you have a squad that you have to paint up, I don't think we're talking about the right game. I think you're talking about Horus Heresy, like 28 millimeter. If you only have a squad that you need to paint up, we're not talking about the same thing. The box comes with like 10 squads, you know, like, and then I'll show them the picture and they'll be like, no, that's not the right thing. So I gotta, I need to find some free time to go there and just set up my stuff and be like, all right, who's playing me now? Because that's why I have the armies I have. I've got the armies for other people to play, but now I got to find the time. That's the hard part. But yeah, there's little trains and stuff, and I don't think I'll ever get into trains. I don't think I need any more hobbies. I think this is it. I think Legions Imperialis can be the end of it. Just keep making more small models for me to collect, but I got to paint them all first. Gotta paint them all before I can do anything else. That's my prediction. Is this year we're gonna be getting? I'm thinking this year we're gonna get more kits for all three factions. And then next year, I think next year we'll get into things like new factions and stuff. Or it could be entirely wrong. I could be completely and totally wrong. They could surprise me. Pull out the. Oh yeah, so Custodes, Horus Heresy Custodes are getting a new box, right? They're getting that they're getting all their models in plastic, yeah? And if it's coming out in Horus Heresy, it's coming out in Legions Imperialis. And you know how long I need to do the math. How long was it before Saturnine Terminators came to Horus Heresy? How long were they in Horus Heresy before they came to Legions Imperialis, right? So, same thing. How long are they going to be in Horus Heresy? How long is going to be in Horus Heresy before they come to Legions Imperialis? It's only a matter of time before we have little tiny custodies running around the field, scooping up the field mice and bopping them on the head. Oh, I definitely want those. You know how easy it'll be to paint? Just prime it gold. Prime it gold, give it a little dry brush, and then paint the cloaks. Paint the cloaks, and I think the guns are already going to be. You're not a Horus Bristorian? It says historian. My trying to read this at an angle. I thought that I thought that H was a B. But who came next? Chaos Eldar? Will we ever see squats? Ooh. Okay, so let's think here. Give me a second. I need my thinking juice. I've said this before. I will continue saying this. I get some criticism about this. Criticism. I get some criticism about this. Some people disagree with me. That's okay. You're allowed to disagree. Can't have a conversation if we all agree. It'd be kind of boring. Sometimes it'd be boring. So, let's see. You do right now. We've got Solar Auxiliary and Space Marines. Right. Those are the first. Easy. Easy. Both sides had it. So you got yourself a war right. You got yourself a game right there. You already had the Titans. So you already had the Titans and the Knights. So there you go. That's a game. That's a game right there. Those three, two technically, three or four factions. Um, I say it that way because you in the beginning they were only using them as they were only using Titans and Knights as strategic support, strategic allies. Then you add Mechanicum. Makes sense. You already got Titans and Knights. Mechanicum, they were the people. They were the people working on that stuff. Again, they're both sides. They're both factions. So it's easy enough. Yeah, easy day, simple. You slap it on the table and you're good to go. But at the same time as we're making Mechanicum, we're also going to make Dark Mechanicum. Both sides did not have Dark Mechanicum. But that's fine. They're unique enough that you're gonna just they're just gonna you're just gonna add them in, and it'll be fine. Uh, James White is saying that he does not think it'll be like Epic 40k, and that is referencing Epic 40k then brought in. So after you had Marines, you started with Titans, then you had Marines. We've done that so far. We started with Titans, then we had Marines, but other stuff, and then they brought in, and then Epic 40k brought in Guard, Nids, Eldar, Orcs. Not necessarily all at the same time, but they brought in those four things. Yeah? Am I missing any? I don't think I am. I think that's what they brought in. Legions Imperialis is going to bring in demons and custodes. They may not be full factions. They may not start off as full factions. Mechanicum, not really a complete faction. until you have air support, it's not a complete faction, right? You have to, in order to play the full combined arm game, which this is advertised as, you need to have the full combined arm game. Mechanicum doesn't have that. They're perfectly fine to ally it in. That's fine. Not a full faction, not a complete faction yet. They can get there if they choose to, if they want to. Custodes may be the same way. It may only have a handful of kits. It may be that you have to ally them in. Demons could be the same thing too. I'm perfectly fine with them doing that. It may start that way, but they could just as easily continue to add to it and make a full faction, albeit a small one. They could do that. From there, it gets tricky because James is on to something here about it not being like Epic 40k. Because once you bring in Tyranids and Necrons and Sisters of Battle and everything else, you're not in 30k anymore. You're in 40k, or somewhere in between. And the Space Marines look different. The Space Marines have different stuff. Primaris Space Marines come out at some point, and then they're not using the same tanks anymore. Guard thing, the Guard doesn't operate that way anymore. They don't. Solar Auxiliary doesn't exist. They're completely different. So, do you have these models still be the army? Do you make new things? Like, how do you function that way? I don't know. But they could still add Eldar and Orcs did exist during 30k. They just didn't do much. But I mean, neither did certain legions of Space Marines. They weren't involved in certain legions of Space Marines weren't involved in certain battles with other legions, but we can still have them on the table. So why not have Orson Eldar in the game? And I think it would look really cool. And the game could at least go into the aftermaths of Horus Heresy, the Great Scouring, and at that point you've got other factions that start coming in to shortly sometime after that you've got other factions coming in to take things apart. I don't see any reason why they can't come in. I don't know what you do about Space Marines and Solar Auxiliary in a game where you start trying to have the the other factions. Solar Auxiliary are not the Imperial Guard. Do you do it anyway? Do you continue using? I mean, people wouldn't want. I don't think people would want to find out that their Solar Auxiliary doesn't compute with the new guard faction, which is the same thing. Like, I need all new infantry for my tanks to work. That doesn't make sense. I think it's tricky, but you can definitely easily. I think if it were me, I'd probably just say whatever, and I would add Imperial Guardy things to the Solar Auxiliary line. Um, just so I could have, Necrons, because a huge field of Necrons, a huge field of Tyranids, a huge field of any of that stuff is just awesome. I've always loved like the apocalypse style games of like having huge masses of my entire collection on the table. Um, I've always loved that idea. Uh, but with 40k, it's a lot harder to do. Um, and I think with Legions Imperialis, we have that chance where we can have these huge battles. I'd love to see those armies on the table in such a fashion, and I'd love to see them do it officially, as opposed to having to rely on like 3D printed models, um, which don't always have the best quality. Homebrew rules, which don't always have the best, which aren't always very well balanced, or they feel like they are Just an entirely different game. 10K points of Eldar for APOC games. That sounds awesome, man. I bet that looked great. Do you still have it? I see that you said had, and that has me concerned. I feel like I should occasionally, every now and again, there's new people in the chat, and I feel like I should explain what I'm doing again for them, but I don't know if that's necessarily fun for the people that have already been watching it, so I'm not going to. I don't know. I guess if someone asked, I would answer. Tell them what's going on. Tell them what my plan is again. That seems like the fair thing to do. Sometimes you got to go back on these pieces and you got to look at it again from a different angle. And it's like, oh no, I missed this thing. Speaking of Mechanicum, though, every single Memordon Destructor or Secutor, not every single one, that's a gross exaggeration. I kept finding bits of sprue that I did not cut off. I kept messing those things up. I didn't find it until I was painting it. And then I'm just like, oh, this is terrible. Whoops. Sold it. Still have a Forge World Scorpion super heavy grav tank. For Eldar? I don't know why I'm thinking of the no, that's not a Scorpion. I'm thinking of the no bronze brass scorpions for like the like corn mechanicum thing. I don't know enough about Eldar. I did not know that they had a scorpion heavy grav tank, super heavy grav tank. But I'm glad you kept that. I'm assuming for Epic. I'm assuming that was you're saying that you have that for Epic, or are you saying that you had that for 40K Apocalypse games? I have a Thunderhawk. I have a 40K Thunderhawk from Forge World, and I kind of super regret having it because it's too big and unwieldy to ever take to games. Um, and I got it when I thought I was gonna have this big reenlistment bonus. So I didn't want to deal with it's a big intimidating kit. And at the time I was like, oh, I'll just pay to have somebody else build and paint it. And I kind of super regret that. Oh, okay, so you got it for 40K size. Yeah. No, I don't know why, but I just my immediate thought was that it was not an epic thing. And I have no because you said Forge World, and I don't know if Forge World made any of the epic stuff. So that was my immediate thought was you were talking about something for 40K, which is still cool. Still cool. Glad you have that. Do you have an Eldar army? You have an Eldar army, or is it just a showcase piece? Which is kind of how my Thunderhawk feels. It feels like it's a showcase piece, but it's not something I made, so it's not my showcase piece, and that's part of why I don't like that I have it. I wish I had. I'd rather have the money that I had spent on that instead of the thing. I tried selling it at one point, but the guy that was interested in it ended up not responding. Ended up ghosting me, which is kind of ridiculous. It's like, dude, just tell me you don't want it anymore. Tell me you're not interested in it. But he had me. I was digging through all these boxes trying to find the certificate. When you buy stuff from Forge World, as James knows, but for anybody else watching, um, Forge World kits, the big kits at least. I know you can get small kits and stuff. I don't know if they make anything anymore, but they're big kits. So like and they've got some big Necron stuff too. What's that big spider bot thing that Necron has? But they'll send you like a certificate and like what number the kit is, which is kind of cool. I suppose somewhat useless to some extent. but I guess if you're in the hobby, it's useful. Um, so you got a guard army, awesome. I've got one too. Here's one of my guardsmen. Oh, he's covered in dust. That's terrible. Here's one of my guardsmen. Chocolate chip hamburger pattern. Raven Guard, Space Marines, and your main is Necrons. My buddy mains Necrons. Seraptech Heavy Construct, U3D printed one. Wait, no, you're my buddy. I just figured it out. You're my buddy, aren't you? You're James. You get the same name. No way. Space Wolves. Space Wolves was like my third army ever in 40k. I had them back in third edition, when it was like a codex supplement they called them, I think. Yeah, no, I didn't piece it together, James. And I can see your photo now. I've got my camera. I got my computer angled down. I couldn't see it. But yeah, thanks for hopping in. Your main is orcs. Orcs is fun. I'm telling you, man. If they made orcs for Legions Imperialis, I would absolutely be buying some green contrast paint to put together a huge fleet of them. Oh my goodness. I'd have so many orcs. So many orcs. I'd be painting little black and white checkerboards on everything. Oh, it'd be ridiculous. So what are you painting? You painting anything right now? You never told me. You never told me that you had a old APOC army. Dark Angels are hard to collect because who wants to have traitors and loyalists at the same time? Burn. No. I need to read the books on what the Lion's doing about his sons clearly disobeying him and abandoning the loyalist allies at times. I bet he'd be pretty mad, but apparently he has the ability to just teleport now too. So that's interesting. Working on a full Metal 3 third edition Sisters Army. Oh, nice. Throne of Judgment is getting drilled and pinned. Tis a heavy lad. That's the one with that one guy on it. I remember when I started collecting at some point. I feel like it was when I started collecting Space Wolves. White Dwarf Battle Report, where it was Space Wolf. No, that was 13th Legion. Space Wolves had a 13th Legion at one point. Was that also third edition? It was like in a came in a Codex Eye of Terror, and it was so was that my fourth army then? Does that count? Anyway, they were fighting Sisters of Battle, or Inquisitors or something. They had like this dude sitting on a chair. I can't remember what it was called. I wonder if that's the Throne of Judgment. Yeah, Dark Angels. I like their knight aesthetic more. I don't know. They I don't like the part where they I like them as these knights, right? Like that's a cool theme and everything. You guys should stick with that. And then they kind of like, oh, but randomly at the drop of a hat, we're gonna completely pack up our things and leave because we heard we're saving this planet from orcs, but we heard there's a rumor that there might be a fallen 3 planets down, so we're just gonna pack up our stuff and leave." It's like, dude, you guys were the linchpin of this defensive plan, and you just bolted. Everyone's thinking you're cowards, and you're just like, "No, we have to protect we have to defend we have to make sure nobody finds out that we had traitors in our midst. If anyone finds out that any Dark Angels ever went to Chaos, the Imperium would end." What? Dude, just tell the Inquisitor that, like, "Hey, what's this about a Dark Angel traitor? I got some picked reports of a Dark Angel traitor. What do you guys know about it?" Oh man, yeah, no, we're looking for that guy too. It happens. It happens to every chapter. Come on. The only chapter that doesn't suffer that is Space Wolves. Or at least that used to be the canon. I don't know anymore. Space Wolves stay loyal till they die, but they do sometimes turn into werewolves. So it's a trade off, give and take. You played Dark Angels, you would bring your Cypher the Fallen player Dark Angels. Yeah. Was that like as part of a Dark Angel army, or was that just like something you would add to your army? I have a Emperor's Champion. He's a Black Templar guy. I used a little bit of green stuff to put a little bit of warp fire into his fist, and I used him as a librarian. Black Templars do not like that because they hate librarians. Because as Templar should, they don't know how to read. And then I would post pictures of him to the Black Templar subforums. Hey guys, what do you think of my Emperor's Champion? What do you guys think of my librarian? The Dark Angels had to kill Cypher no matter what. He could be added to any army. Okay, yeah. Now I've seen his rules before. I can't remember him. Or because in third edition, I think it was what they have like Codex Angels of Death or something, and it was Blood Angels and Dark Angels. And around that time, there was a show called Dark Angel that came out, and I was so excited that there was this Warhammer TV show, like back in the early 20s or the late 90s, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And it was not about that at all. It was not about Warhammer. It was not about Black Angels. They're Dark Angels. Black Angels. Black Angels. Is there a Black Angel chapter? No. That'd be a cool name. I bet they're Blood Angel successors though. The Black Angels. Yeah. How's everybody doing? How's the snow up for you? Did anyone else get snow? So, Roy, I see that you are drilling and pinning your metallic sisters of battle, as is probably best because gluing, I tell you, gluing those metal kits together is a pain. As I'm sure you are aware. And then it all chips so much. I do like the weight and feel of them, though. The weight and feel of a metal model. When I do D&D models, I like the metal ones. I don't like the new plastic stuff. Um, which D&D models are typically like, one piece. There's not all these extra things that you have to glue on and stuff. But trying to glue on trying to glue any of that stuff together is a nightmare. I think that's why my brother doesn't play this stuff anymore. I do like the way this is coming out. It's a nice little weapon here. I'm looking forward to getting to use them as well. So, James, why don't you think that this is going to be like Epic? I didn't know you ever played Epic, by the way. I do not think that was something I was aware of. Or maybe you did tell me and I forgot. Also, an equally valid possibility. I think I'll put a little bit of gold on that, yeah? Yeah, that'll look cool. A little bit of gold there. Dude, they put a bunch of Necrons. Necrons would be an easy one. I would probably buy every army that they put in Legions Imperialis. Horde of Nids? Yup. Horde of Necrons? Absolutely. Horde of excuse me. Horde of I'd probably have to increase the horde of guard that I have. Horde of Sisters. Oh, I'd love to see that too. Horde of Eldar and Orcs. Yeah, I'd want them all. Squats. I don't know about squats though. I don't know enough about squats. Horde of Custodes. Let me change out my headset batteries. Never played Epic, just don't think they'll add more than Imperium armies to LI. It's valid. One sec. I think maybe it won't be called LI at that point anymore, right? I think it's money being left on the table. I think you got people already making homebrew rules for it. You got people already printing making 3D models for it. GW is not getting any of that money. It could be getting that money. Why shouldn't they? Why wouldn't they want to go get that? Make that bread. I think it's a matter of time though. Obviously, you don't want to expand something too much. You don't want to have something grow too fast. Nobody buys it, You make 10 armies all at once, people are only going to buy one of those armies. And then your sales numbers are down and everything. It looks bad. It looks bad doing it that way. Looks like a failure, and then it is, because it looks like a failure, it is a failure. Oh, so your D&D game, is that done now? Are you working on your LI now? You working on your first army? And what'd you get? Because we're supposed to be playing a game here soon, aren't we? I don't have anything else to say. I don't remember what else. I don't really remember what else I wanted to talk about. Custodes are coming. All right, what all did I talk about? So, breachers are coming for breachers are out soon. They're out for release for Horse Heresy, right? So we'll see some of those soon. They got those Scutari Pilgrims or something coming out for Horse Heresy, so we'll see some of those soon. That's there's 2 new infantry boxes that you can do. The breachers came with some Terminators and stuff, yeah. So you'll get some of that stuff. And then they technically already have the Velatari Storm with guns, with the ranged weapons. So there you go. Boom, right there. 3 new boxes. That's what we'll see this year. New infantry for everybody. It's a shame that only Marines get to use termites, but I don't know how they would be. I don't know. Would they make a new kit? I feel like if they were to put termites in the Mechanicum and Solar Auxiliary Army list, which they should, I feel like in order for them to do that, they'd have to make a new kit. Like, it can't just be the same thing. So would they make a new kit? You know, is it worth making a new kit for them though? I'm not saying they need to do that to make those things happen. I just feel like that's how they operate. Like, if we're gonna make this thing, here's the thing: we're gonna make it usable by this faction. If they wanted it to be usable by that faction, they'd have a different, right? So like Space Marine Land Raiders in 28 millimeter, Space Marine Land Raiders. There's a kit for that. Chaos Space Marines have them too, and it's a different kit. It's got spikes, so they'd have to do something for the Mechanicum. Like, I don't know. I don't think they'd give you the rules for it without having a new kit for it, and I don't know if it's justifiable to have a new kit for it. I would be happy to be proven wrong in that aspect, because drop pods are Space Marine specific. You can't put a dude in there, but you can put a dude in a termite, and they just should. They should just have termites. Solar Auxiliary, I don't know that the Solar Auxiliary was using termites a lot, but Krieg, Deathcore Krieg, and those are just as much normal people as anybody else, except for their, death cultist, but and cloned from a badass. But that doesn't change. That doesn't change that they are not genetically modified. They're not Space Marines. And then I'm pretty sure, secondhand accounting here, that Mechanicum uses that stuff. So there's some new things coming out. There's some new things that are pretty bound to happen. And then you got making new kits for Custodes, so those will be coming out too. There, boom, 4 new kits. I don't know when the Custodes will be here though. That might be longer. That might be longer, or it might be after the plastic kit comes out. Maybe they wait a bit, maybe they don't. And then I feel like if you're gonna do custodies, you might as well also do demons. I see demons. I see a demon release being similar to Dark Mechanicum release, where Dark Mechanicum didn't exist in 20 in Horse Heresy. Those kits didn't exist in that until they came out for Legions Imperialis. We don't technically have demons in Horse Heresy. They could just reuse, I don't think they'll. I think they'll make whole new kits. I don't think the kits we get for demons would be the same as the ones that we have for fantasy slash because those kits are usable in fantasy and they're usable in 40k. I think it'll be different from those. I don't think it's going to be the same thing rehashed, but it could be. Um, but I feel like they would want to capitalize. I feel like they'd want to push new product and sell new kits. People already have the 40k demons. I don't think they want 40k and 30k Space Marines are different from one another, and I think they'd continue with that trend. Um, yeah, custodies are apparently different too. So, but I feel like if you bring out custodies, I feel like you also bring out Chaos Space Marines. Maybe they've got some internal systems where they're like, no, we're not going to do things like this because you're doing them like this that I don't know about. But I don't see any reason to leave that money on the table at all. Let's see this guy here. Yep, I did indeed. I did indeed paint that there like that. So I'll just keep doing that. Keep it nice and uniform. I actually kind of don't like that. Kind of mess that up. So, hazard stripes are an Iron Warriors things. Iron Warriors are traitors. So these hazard stripes, we don't have hazard stripes. We have Hornet stripes. But to answer your question more appropriately, I start with Everland Sunset as my base. Covers the black pretty nice. Put a little bit of that down. Then I give myself Uriel yellow. Just put that all over it. And I do that before I do the black. I do the base coat of that, and I do it before I've done the trim, so I can just kind of, I'm messy with it. I slather it on. I'm very messy when I paint some of the stuff, the large bases, the large surface areas, and everything. I will finish it off with Flash Gets Yellow, and if it wasn't an armor panel, if it was something else, and I was trying to like layer and everything, and like give myself different texture and everything. So like my Sisters of Battle, my Sisters of Battle are also yellow. I follow the same recipe for them, right? So I do the yellow for their cloaks too. I'll go up higher levels and I'll do details and layering. I just slather this stuff all over it for them. But the final yellow, if I were to have done that, would have been Phalanx yellow. And I will then start mixing in some white with that too. And then obviously Chaos Black for the other portion of the stripe. Yeah. Good question. Good question. Thanks for the question. those sisters have been sitting there for since Legions Imperialis got came out, waiting for me to paint them because why I need to paint these guys and I just haven't I paused them halfway through the day and then haven't gone back to them. What an awful uh hobbyist I am to leave them sitting there collecting dust like that. And you guys typically don't see it. Um, the the pile of gray continues that way, and I've got a bunch of sisters kits that would all by now I would have finished all my sisters throughout this time where I've been painting everything that's not sisters. So that is terrible of me. I'm awful. And I've got a squad of 10 sisters that are sitting downstairs um in a bin in a Tupperware with simple green in there trying to strip the paint off of them because I primed them when it was too hot and muggy. And I don't know if that's come off. Probably hasn't. Um I can only assume it has not. But yeah. Uh so I think I am done with this bronze color. I think I've got it everywhere I wanted it to be. But before I go on to the next color, I'm just gonna look over everything and double check myself. Oh yeah, no, I missed a little bit right there. I tell you, painting these tiny models, even the big titans, but they're tiny titans. They're big models compared to most other things, but compared to titans, these are tiny titans. But painting all these tiny models, I ruin my brushes even faster than I normally do. And I tell you, I am constantly ruining brushes. If you are watching me trying to figure out how to paint without ruining your brushes, I have some disappointing news for both of us. My favorite brushes are ruined because I like to be. It's the secret is to come back and cover it up later. The secret is to not finish until it is finished. But a lot of the time, I am just slapping on the paint. And I feel like better painters are able to paint without ruining their brushes and still be faster than me. All right. I don't like the way this guy looks. I don't like the way this thing. Try to get in there. Eh. Okay. I don't know how that looks for you guys. I don't like the way this thing looks. Um, it'll look different once it's finished because this part will be different and have gold and everything. But right now, I kind of don't like. It feels like there's too much metal, too much gunmetal, and not enough breaking it up. So I'm gonna paint these little guys in there. I'm pulling an audible. I'm gonna add to it. Yeah, I do that, guys. Someone's playing Helldivers. So there's a little canister looking thing. I'm just gonna give that an extra bit of love. Trying to get some more. I don't know. Attention. Trying to move the eyes around a little bit more. I don't know what that thing's supposed to be. Not a clue. James, what are you going to be collecting? Are you getting Space Marines, or are you going to be doing Solar or Mechanicum? All Titans, perhaps? And when am I going to be able to play against you? All right, so that's that. I think the legs are good. Space Marines, you know a Legion yet? Oh, I did miss a little section on the legs here. Probably a section that's not even going to be seen. Raven Guard? Alright. Raven Guard are cool. Now, there's no shame in having multiple legions. They all have different traits and everything. So, yeah. Oh. Oh. I almost forgot about these guys. There we go. I knew there was something I didn't paint on these guys. I think that's all that I'm missing for him, though. Yeah. Yeah, well, which is weird. All right, so James is saying that Dark Angels. He talks about Dark Angels being edgy, but Raven Guard is the goth emo kids at 40k, which is why Dark Angels need to stop being edgy because we already got the emo kids. We don't need goth emo kids. We don't need a second group of emo kids. Like you got to find your own thing, you know. What was I doing? Oh, okay. How did I do this? How did I do it for you? Yep. Okay. Cool. I'm wondering why would the orcs in 40k be considered the happiest group of people in the setting? Yeah. That's not really up for debate. Orcs are factually the happiest. They orcs never lose because orcs win. Like you either get a good fight, they either get a good fight in and they win and they're happy because they got to fight and they won their fight, or they get a good fight and you kill them all and they all died thinking, man, this is a great fight. Like there's no loss for them. I guess if you hit them with like to make orcs lose, you have to hit them with like guerrilla tactics, and they have to just be like not having a good time with a fight because you keep running away, and they're not, they're there for a fight, but you're not really giving them a fight, but you're still killing their buddies. Like that's the only way for orcs to lose. Like and you don't have to be humans to do that. Nids can do that to them and stuff. Like, but if you're fighting them, if it's head to head, they're sitting there the entire time, down to the last man. They're thinking, "Hey, this is good scrap," and then you've killed them all. Yeah, there's no losing for them. I don't think they like fighting Tau though, because Tau will try to keep them at range, and they'll just hit them with long range stuff. And then as the orcs get closer, they just pull back, and the orcs are like, "Ah, what gives?" So yeah, I mean, there's times where they're not happy, but overall, I'd say they're the happiest as a group, right? Because despite all the grim dark in the universe, there's still that one farmer that lived his entire life, just doing what he loved, which was farming, and then died just before the Tyranid invasion shows up. So, or just before the world falls to chaos, or just before Eldar came and raid is and enslave the entire population. Like, But as a group, yeah, orcs. It's orcs. Tau probably think they're pretty happy and probably, Tau probably think they're doing okay, and then they don't know about things like the warp, and then everything goes to hell, and then they're like, "Oh no, what's happening?" Tau to me always kind of feel like those scientists that are just happily working on a portal to another world, not realizing that it ends everything. I saw something the other day that was saying that Tau would be better off. Tau would be better off if it wasn't for the Farseers. Like the Farseers are like a restriction that I don't know. I glanced at it. I don't remember what it said. Oh, that's another faction I wouldn't mind having a whole swarm of in Legions Imperialis. Just a bunch of Tau, all the little hammerheads and all the little guys. Yeah, it'd be. I mean, I don't like Tau, but like I think it'd be a really cool faction. I think it'd be really cool to have any at this scale. Any huge uniform looking stuff. It's all awesome. Little crisis battle suits and little broadsides and the hammerheads and the all the fish people and stuff. I think that'd be so cool looking. I and then the same thing for the Necrons and like it all looks so cool. Any of them, any of them would look cool. Um, I think it'd be really easy to do, really easy to like have a big collection of them. Um, without having to like make too much stuff. You don't you don't need not Tyrannus. Space Marines have so many different kits. You got the two new super heavy kits. And then you got that other you got how many different Space Marine kits are there's so much bloat and stuff there. Like if you want to try to have a big collection of everything and stuff, like it's a lot of stuff. And to try to own the entire thing, that's a lot. That's a lot of shelf space. It's a lot of money. That's rough. People don't want to do that for a whole bunch of factions. But if it was if it was some boys, some buggies, and some tank stuff, and a couple of like death knots, right? That's what they're called. And then your Gorkanauts and your Morkanauts and everything. You get like four or five different kits, and you just buy those. You just keep clicking add to shopping cart. There you go. That's all you need. Space Marines, though, you got your Falcon Ashelon, you got your Fellblade and Fellglaive, you got your Saturnines, you got your Cerberus, your Mastodons, your Typhoons, your support stuff, your Kratos, the Arachne weapons if you're into that, your Whirlwinds and Scorpiuses, your Rhinos, your Vindicators, your Termites, your Sicarians, your other Sicarians, the Sabers, and you have Fire Raptors, Xiphons, Storm Eagles, Drop Pods, Dreadnought Drop Pods, the fast attack stuff, the Predators, the the Spartan assault tanks, the Land Raider Proteus, the Rhinos, the infantry. There's like 27 different kits. They've got 27 different kits. One, two, three. Yeah, yeah. There's 27 different Space Marine kits. That's a lot to try to have in a collection. And honestly, on the table, it's not bad, I guess, but like there's something exciting. There's something cool about having a whole bunch of one thing. And there's something cool about having a bunch of one thing of a bunch of different things too. So I don't want to hate on. There's different ways to play stuff, right? Space Marines, Space Marines play that other way, and that's fine. I kind of like for the other guys though. The other way for the other guys. All right, let's see. There are 21 kits. one, two, three. There are 20 kits, 20 different kits, individual kits, right? Not talking about these bundle deals. 20 individual kits for Solar Auxiliary. I don't think you need a whole bunch of kits. I don't think you need a whole bunch of kits for any of the other Xenos factions and stuff, you know? Oh, the best LI starter kit for each faction. Let's see. Let me double check. Mantas everywhere. Yeah, yeah. You need to have some mantas. You definitely. I think they already had that. I think they already sell those for. Well, they may not sell them anymore, but for Aeronautica Imperial, I think it's Aeronautica Imperialis. All right, the best LI starter kit for each faction. Any of them, whatever one you can get your hands on. Because right now, and our store rules of engagement might still have some of the other one. I don't know if they got them, but the only kits that they have, you got your starter kit, and then you've got the combat patrols for each faction. Well, there's a combat patrol for Solar, Mechanicum, and Legion. Astartes Legions. They had a combined arms kit, and that was a great place to get started. But those are sold out online, so you got to find them from third party or your local gaming store. Which I don't know if our local gaming store has those, but it's kind of the same thing, but it comes with flyers. Um, and really, and there might be some choices in there that aren't great choices, but really, what you're getting is bulk, and it gives you about like 17. The combined arms box gives you like 1,700 points. Gives you pretty close to 2,000 point army. Lamenters, yeah, no, do that. That sounds awesome. All right, so about a whole warehouse is probably needed to store them in when they're put together. What are you saying? Specifically, what whole warehouse is needed to put together? What? Are you saying like the individual kits or like all the Xenos factions and stuff? I do have a video where I break down more specifically each the starter kits, the available how to start. It's out of date now because a bunch of the stuff is not. Oh yeah, warehouse for the Space Marine stuff. Yeah, they definitely have. I mean, they have warehouses to hold those things, to hold all the sprues and everything. So definitely. Um, it seems to me counterintuitive, right? So Space Marines are the faction of elite. Space Marines are the elite Imperial Guard, the Imperial Army, Imperial Guard, Solar Auxiliary, right? That is the hammer, that is the anvil, that is the bulk of the forces. That's hold the line. Um, anything that you're any fights you're winning by. Yeah, see you. Take care. Thanks for joining us. They are hold the line and win through attrition, right? Space Marines are the scalpel. They're the elites. They are the right tool for the right job. But it seems in modern elite military, special forces and everything, they use they have a very small selection of kit. This might not be universally true for everything. But I think for a lot of stuff, it's here's your kit. You're very well trained and precise for it. That kit does a lot of stuff. It's a or is it? Maybe I'm thinking this is wrong. I don't know. It seems weird for Space Marines to have like. It seems weird that you've got like for Space Marines to function, you have hundreds of different options for tanks. And that means you have to take all these tanks with you to get to the battlefield and then say, okay, what we need is that one, and that one. Like that kind of seems weird. That doesn't feel something about that feels kind of weird. So I'm finished with this metallic color to the best of my knowledge. Watch me find somewhere else where I need to still put some more of it down. So I'm finished with this guy. And I think I'm gonna use this guy. I just don't know where I'm going to use this guy. So I'm going to move on to Warlock Bronze, which is another... It's a darker bronze color. I know I've used it in the past. I just don't remember what I've used it on. Oh, I used it in those little spots. That doesn't really... Did I use it anywhere else? Does not appear as though I did. Oh, I used it there. Okay. Oh, I used it for those pipes. Okay. Is there anything else I'm missing? I feel like I painted some more stuff that's under there, and I can't... And I can't even see it anymore because of how everything went. Because I painted it without the armor panels on, and then once I put the armor panels on, it's like, oh, yeah, no, that's gone. That is no longer visible. Oops. You know what I like about this paint more than I like about the other color is this one doesn't dry as lumpy all over my palette. And that is fantastic. So, I don't think I want to do that because I don't think I can reach in there and get that. So, I just do these pipes. This model's a little bit different. A little bit different. I like the 30K paint scheme for Dark Angels. Where it's not... I don't like the... Dark Angels green is kind of meh to me. Green and then the red. The dark green and then the bright red is kind of just like, meh. Bit Christmassy. Yeah, I definitely think I painted that. And you can't see it on this one at all. I did. You can barely make it out. And I don't think that means it's worth it. In fact, I think that makes it not worth it. So I'm not going to paint that part. I can just barely make it out. There's a little panel that goes here, right? This guy. And it goes in here, yeah? And it hides. So there it is, yeah? And it hides that. Hides that guy right there. And there's a little pipe there. It comes up and down. Kind of comes at an angle. And I took the time to paint that last time, a different color, to break things up. And I think I painted these pipes too. And I can barely see them when I look at it, which means it's not doing its job of breaking anything. Like I have to get it at the right angle and really look in there, which means it's not doing what I want it to do. I'm painting this color of this metallic color in here to on these things to try to break up this the monotony of all the silver. Well, if you can't see the silver down there, then it doesn't need to be broken up. And I painted it the first time because I didn't realize how bad it was going to be covered up. And now I'm just not going to do that because the juice is not worth the squeeze. And it's very likely that that's true of what I'm doing right now, too. Well, I can see this, and I'm not gonna. There's not gonna be a panel there, so I guess it is worth it. But yeah, how's everybody doing? For those of you that are on the East Coast and got some snow a couple days ago, aka James, you playing it? You keep playing it? We had a we did I took a walk. I didn't really have a snowball fight, but I did throw snowballs at people. I wouldn't call it a fight because it wasn't like this long back and forth or anything. And then we did. They made a snowman. I made snow footprints. I like to make footprints in the snow of giant monsters. Don't judge. And my son built a throne that he sat down in, so that he could tell all the other kids what to do. Oh my god! I just pieced it together. My son built not a golden throne, but a white throne, I guess. It's like the emperor. I didn't build any. I didn't do any. Last year when it snowed, I built a big fort. I don't know why I didn't do that this year. I didn't. It's hard. It's hard with my legs. My knees don't work very well right now. Right, those are gonna be. I really. All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go ahead and paint this section up here too. Yeah, not if he gets him turned in a golden throne. No, but I guess I guess he's got a good. He's working up to a management position, right? And then of course my youngest went and had to like destroy it and and push him off of it and stuff. So I tell you, they were born in medieval times where you'd have to off your siblings to inherit the kingdom. That'd be bad news for them. They're doing learning from home right now. Well, not right now, but today. Today they were doing school's still closed. And instead of back in my day, um, school would be closed and for snow days, and that'd be it. School's closed. But now with all this online learning, they're just still going to class, but they're not really going to class. They're just doing work that the teachers assigned to them. So the teacher's not even really teaching them anything. Which is kind of like the problem I had with online college. I was like, oh, I'm paying for this class so I can teach myself. And I hate those iPads, man. They're not iPads. We've got like these little laptopy computer things. I hate them because my kids are on the computer all the time, like trying to play games and stuff. And I'll tell them all right, only educational stuff, only do this or whatever. But unless I go down there and I look at the screen every 10 minutes, they know how to hide that stuff. They know how to close those windows. I don't even know how to operate that thing. Yeah. And so now the school is just real quick because they got these computers. Schools are real quick to say no school tomorrow. No school. Hey, it's raining right now. No school tomorrow. Don't come in. Just get on your laptop. That's cool, man. That's nice. I have to go to work. My wife has to go to work. We're all going to work. Who's staying home to watch the kids? You aren't watching my kids. So I can't even put them in daycare because they have to be in class. Like, what? And the roads aren't that bad. You've closed school for no reason. Like, you closed school 3 days before anything happened. That doesn't make any sense. So now I come online and I gotta sound like a grognard complaining about. Is that the right way to say that? I gotta sound like an old guy complaining about how things used to be better in the past. That's not really what I'm complaining about. I'm just complaining about these laptops. When I should be painting. That looks good. Yeah. Oh no. Alright, I'm pretty sure I painted that a different color too, so I'm gonna do that. Oh, you know what? So I just realized something. On this guy, you get this little armor panel right there. Yeah? You can kind of see it right under his face. On this guy, that armor panel would be right here. That armor panel is not going to be there because his chin is connecting into it. Yeah? So that means I really need to paint this stuff in this area. I need to paint it because it's I need to put some detail to it because it's gonna just be exposed. This guy's chest is exposed. I don't remember how I did that, and that kind of matters. Yeah, okay. Fighting snowdrifts to get to school. If you don't mind my asking, Pirate Roy, where are you from? What so I get an idea of what weather is like for you. Are you because was it somebody was saying about warm weather, so I'm guessing they were. I don't know if that was you, but I was guessing that they were down in Australia or something across the coast. Ignore this little commercial break. I'll skip it right now. There we go. You know, for anybody watching, anybody listening, you know that old that thing, not the old. You know that thing about like, oh, our grandparents, they had to walk uphill. They had to walk to school uphill both ways. New Zealand, okay. And you're in Australia, yeah. Now, Perth, I'm assuming Perth is a city or county or however they do it. Specific part of Australia as opposed to some other thing. I don't know if they had this saying in Australia or New Zealand for that matter, but you get this thing where they'd say where people would be, grandparents, old people would be like, "Oh, back in my day, we had to walk uphill. We had to walk to school uphill both ways in the snow, and add tack on whatever else you want to say." I realized I had to walk uphill to school both ways because the hill was here, and the hill isn't a mountain. It's a hill, right? Home is over here, school is over here, hill is in between. I'm going uphill and downhill both ways. Too hot and flat. From cold and mountains to too hot and flat. Oh, is New Zealand really cold? I know New Zealand has mountains because I've seen Lord of the Rings. And I guess it has snow because I've seen Lord of the Rings. But I don't. It's not cold. I'm assuming it's not cold year round. Or maybe it is. Or maybe you were in a part that was cold year round. Um, does Australia get any snow? Maybe in some parts, I guess, right? It's gotta. They've got. There's a mountain in New Zealand, in Australia, yeah. Probably not your part. Australia is a pretty big place. So I absolutely shouldn't treat it like it's all the same. I don't think I've ever been to Australia or New Zealand, and I definitely want to go to either or both. But I have heard that it does get hot there. So, you know, a short visit. Lower East Coast. Okay. I know you've got some interesting stuff going on with time zones. Where, like, the lines kind of go in different directions and stuff or something. I don't remember. It's been a minute since I've looked at it. So here's what I'll do. I'll go visit Australia in my summer. That way it's your winter and it won't be as hot. But maybe it will be, would it still be as hot as my summer? I don't know. And I won't know because you might not. What do you guys use? Metric or imperial for measuring things? Because I will not know what Celsius equates to. I will wake up and someone will tell me what the weather is, and I'll be like, "Oh, that's good." No, that's bad. That'll be a fun time. Except I assume the cost to fly there is significant and thus unattainable. I had a friend that was I had an online gaming friend who lived in Australia. And this was many, many years ago. And he said if I ever came to visit, we would party. And I don't party anymore. And I also don't know him anymore. So, I mean, none of that's going to happen. Miserable and windy spring. Come here in spring. Your fall. Yeah, probably. Um, okay. Because if I came in summer, it would be winter. So that would be. So I'm assuming miserable, you mean like cold and muggy and windy? I guess it could also be hot and windy. I do not want to go somewhere where it is hot and windy. Typically, when it's windy, it's very cold and muggy and rainy. Yeah, yeah. So now I gotta decide these weapons. Oh, speaking of windy, I have been to. I can't remember what state. I want to say Kansas. I want to say it was Kansas. It might have been Kansas City. It was so long ago. I was so young. I don't remember. But it rained, and it was raining sideways so bad that I was in the lobby of the hotel. I was a kid. I was in the lobby of the hotel. Here's the doors down here, and we're way down here, right? Like easily like 40 feet is where they had the counter. And somebody walked by, so the automatic doors opened, and the rain was hitting us. It was raining sideways, like crazy. I was a kid, so my memory might have inflated this, but that's how I remember it. It was very windy there. All right, I'm gonna paint this little section here with this darker color. I don't know if it's gonna turn out very well, but let me give it a try. Let's see, what do we got here? Can I try and? Yeah, yeah, let's give that a try. I actually kind of don't like something I've done. So now I feel bad about that. All right. Let's. Okay. I was right. I was telling. I was telling my supervisor today. I've got a temp supervisor. She's pretty cool. Because she's from another office, and at her office, she's typically not like her real job. Her primary job. She's like going through the process to become a supervisor. Her primary job at her office is to be a carrier. So she doesn't supervise at all there. So she knows what it's like to be a worker, not a supervisor. So she's not like telling people to do dangerous stuff at work to get the job done and everything. But my parents went to go see a concert the other day, and I couldn't remember the name of the band that they went on to see. But telling her about it, and I was like, yeah, something like Heinz and the Ketchup Boys or something. Like it's this really long name where it's like something something and the something something, right? And I came up with Heinz and the Ketchup Boys. I don't know why. I was thinking about ketchup, I guess. And I wasn't sure if I was just like misremembering everything. My dad just texted me and told me the name of the band, and it was indeed something to the effect of blank and the blank. So I'm glad I got that right. There's times here lately where my brain has not been the best at remembering things. So it is a small win when I'm right about something that I could have been very wrong about, even though it didn't matter. All right, I kind of like that. I don't know. Can you guys see that? That looks good on my computer screen, but my computer screen's at a weird angle. I kind of like that. The way the bronze kind of, yeah, I kind of like that. I like the way that looks. I'm gonna do that to the other one too. Just the little things, the little breakups and stuff, the little changes and things. So what's gonna happen here? Because I'm sure the people watching now were not watching this an hour ago when oh wow, it's been 2 hours already. I'm sure the people watching now are not the people that were watching this when it started. What's going to happen? And I don't think I ever actually managed to finish the complete sentence. So I've oh here before I start that, I really appreciate that you tackle all this by hand brush. Gives it a certain look that an airbrush. Yeah, I don't care for the hairbrushes. If people let me before I go any further with that, let me say people who airbrush, that's fine. That's how you paint your models is how you paint your models. We're all hobbyists. However you get it done, if you want to base coat it and dry brush it, and I mean, all right, there's some methods that aren't going to have nearly the same quality results, same quality of results. But however you want to do it, that's up to you, right? I'm not going to hate on people airbrushing. I do not care for the quality. I do not like the quality myself as something that I would want to have on my shelf. Howdy, how's it going there, Chrono Harvester, Time Harvester? Welcome to the channel. Howdy, howdy. Um, yeah, I I don't like the way airbrushing looks. Um, Now if you show me a model and you say, "Hey, look at my model that I did. It's airbrushed," I'm not gonna dislike the model. I don't like it in like a personal way, right? Like if it was mine, I wouldn't. Does that make sense? Yeah, and airbrushing, I don't know if there's like, I don't know if that's like, if there's people that are better at airbrushing where they don't have this issue. It kind of looks dusted on, you know. It kind of, it's kind of like when I've seen it in person, right? It has given me the impression before in the past that if you were to leave something out and it accumulated dust, and that dust was colored, and other areas got different colored dust. That's kind of the that is an appearance I have seen personally. And I don't know if you're here for it. Oh boy, back in 2012, I bought a Thunderhawk, and I didn't want to go through the. I had heard that they were. I bought the resin Thunderhawk, the massive resin Thunderhawk. I had heard that they were a pain to put together and a pain to build because it's resin, and I was like, well, I don't want to deal with that. So I spent money. I spent far too much money. Money I wish I had back. I don't care for the model anymore. Um, Too big, and it kind of broke on shipping, and it was airbrushed. Spent a lot of money to have this thing painted, and it's airbrushed. And I also partially just don't like it because it's not mine. I didn't make it, you know. And I didn't. It shaped my values, I guess, in a way. My values were not that at the time. Now my values are that. My values are not what they are now. I've changed, and yeah, I didn't like it. I don't like the way it looks. Um, I don't know. It can get good results quick. Um, I see a lot of a lot of videos I see for like how to paint end up using it. They end up being airbrush tutorials and stuff, or they use it in their product, and that's fine. I mean, it kind of means I can't follow that part along. I don't watch a lot of how to paint videos. Um, if I'm being perfectly honest, I watch some. I watch some how to paint. Yeah, I like this better. What was I saying? Oh yeah, how I was gonna go through. Yeah, no, hey real. I was I figured I when I read your name, I figured it because I'd seen you say some comments. Sounds like you were saying the people on the stream now aren't the people who joined when the stream started. Yeah, yeah. So how I'm going to for anybody reading the comments and going through this, real like James is someone I know. Um, so with that out of the way, um, at the beginning of the stream, I was talking about how I was going to be doing this. So, and I don't know if I ever got this thought out there. So I have, all right, there's two different things. How I'm going to do this, and then how I'm going to do this. The structure of how I'm going to do this and what my end goal is. So my end goal here is I'm doing all the metal bits. I hope you can see that kind of good. I can't really see my screen very well, and then the light is kind of whatever, right? Kind of bad. So then it's going to be all galloned up and stuff. He's going to be awesome and things. And he's kind of just standing there. I didn't really pose him very well, but yeah. So this is a Warlord Sinister Side Titan, and my plan for him is all the metal bits, and then I'm gonna paint these panels. These panels, right? All the panels, all the armor panels. So like this guy, right? This guy has all the metal bits underneath, and then the panels are everywhere. I'm gonna paint all these panels black, and then I'm gonna put I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna do it, so I'm gonna actually have to look up some painting videos, or at least look at pictures. I'm gonna look at some different painting videos to try to get a good idea of how I want to do it. But I'm gonna paint a dark red. I think I might like stimple it on or something, or maybe kind of dry brush it. I'm gonna do something, dark red, and then I'm going to do a layer of lighter red until I get up to a nice, bright, warm yellow. Very little bit of it, though. And I'm going to do it in a way where it looks like flames, or it's just going to straight up be flames. I don't know. I'm going to paint these flames all over all these black panels, similar to, if you're familiar with Warhammer, if you're familiar with all the legions, similar to how salamanders have their green armor with these flames, or similar to Legion of the Damned, black armor with flames. So more similar to Legion of the Damned because it's gonna be black armor with the flames. And I think I'll do the trim, this stuff, the trim here. How I have this gold trim everywhere, like that. I think I'll do that gold. I think I'll still do that gold, and then I'll be done. I do wonder if I should have these. Yeah, because yellow would be yellow is the hottest part of the flame. When people paint on flames, they often go red with like yellow tips and stuff. Um, I think if you find like a car that's been decaled, you'll find it red to yellow. And the yellow part is actually the base of the flames because that's where it's hottest. It's red and brown at the black at the very tops. Um, when you look at a real fire. So maybe it's a very little bit of yellow, or maybe it's a lot of yellow, but it's spread out only along the bottom and stuff. And there's a little bit of it wisping up into the top and stuff. And then it becomes, as you go up and out, it becomes darker. I'm gonna look at some videos. I'm gonna look at some pictures. I'm gonna get a good idea of how I want to do this. Because I don't, don't. This isn't gonna be something I want to do twice. Can't mess it up. Um, it can be messed up. I don't want to mess it up. I can't afford to mess it up. Um, I am thinking these guns go on top, right? These go like this. And I'm thinking I might want to do that. I might want to do these guns Hornet stripes. I call them Hornet stripes. These things, these are Hornet stripes. I don't call them hazard stripes because people pointed out that the Iron Warriors, the traitors, use hazard stripes, and these guys are loyalists. So boom. If I paint these Hornet striped, just like these, they become interchangeable. Because what I can do here is this guy can then wield them. Yeah? I can put him on him. If I want him with these volcano cannons to have these laser blasters. And if I want him, the Psi Titan. So this is a Warlord. This is a Warlord Sinister. Warlord Sinister is a Psi Titan. He's got some psychic abilities and stuff. He's not a part of this Legio. This guy is a part of this Legio, which is why he is not going to be painted like them. He is going to be painted in flames and stuff. I think it'll be really cool. If I paint his weapons like this, mind you, the black looks cool on that guy, so maybe I'll just go black. If I paint these the same way as the other one, they become interchangeable. And what I can do is on these panels, which go here, right? Maybe it's easier over here. If I paint this stuff, if I paint flame, panel with 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 flame, panels without the flame, and halfway up it starts to become this, right? Halfway up it starts to look like this, kind of like it's shifting, kind of like the imagery is shifting, kind of like if you look up like Alpha Legion stealth paint jobs where like you've got this like blue line where on one side it's a loyalist looking color and on the other side it's Alpha Legion to show that they're shifting how they look, camouflage or whatever, except for without the blue line, kind of look more like it's burning through it or something. And then so I do that here. So there's this graduate transition, and then up at the top, I'm using these hornet stripes. I think that might be cool. Alternatively, I mean, this guy's finished, right? This guy's finished, except he needs weapons. These weapons are not finished. But I mean, black weapons with gold, if I just leave them black and don't put flames on them, that kind of looks cool. Yeah, that kind of works. And then I could do another set of these where they're black. I got another warlord with these weapons on them. So I'll have the extra weapons. I want these to be interchangeable. These are not interchangeable because I don't magnetize. Kind of on the fence about it. I'm also on the fence about how I want to end up doing this guy's helmet. Um, I have seen the official artwork, which who cares? You paint it however you want, right? The official artwork has this thing with a bronze color to it. I mean, it's probably the same bronze I use for everything else, but I don't think I want to do the bronze there. I think I want to do like if I keep it black with then like a bright yellow glow coming from the center, kind of from the not the center, but from the edges. That could be cool. Battle damage to excuse not painting section. Yeah, yeah, no, it could it could be anything. Because I was thinking how it would look to be like if I had this, but then it's kind of like worn. If I paint the panel like this, but then I wear away this bottom piece so that it's kind of fades to the black, and that kind of ties it in with the rest of the Legion, with the rest of my Legio, or I just don't tie it in with the rest of my Legio. Honestly, like this all by itself, this looks cool. I feel like what I need to do, I feel like what I need to do here is fix my phone because it's falling. I feel like what I need to do here is I need to paint it all up and not do these guys until I get towards the end so I can see what it's looking like from the rest of it. I'll have to think about it. I'll have to think on it for a bit, which is fine. I knew I wasn't going to be getting to that stuff tonight anyway. Um, I'm almost done with the metallics, and then I need to do a wash on all of this stuff. And then so let's talk about the process of how I'm gonna get there. That was another thing I wanted to say that I think I started trying to say earlier tonight and I never got around to. So the process is I'll actually bring him back out. The process for me painting these Titans is I base coat them. I base coat the whole thing, and what I was doing for a while was I was base coating them in this metallic color, lead belcher. You don't care for official colors, I get it. But are you using any reference images when selecting colors, etc.? These are the official colors. This is the official scheme for Legio Ignatum, aka Fire Wasps. Um, I'm not using the official scheme for the Warlord Sinister. It's official in that it was used in a. No, go ahead. I'll come back to it. Don't worry about it. Um, uh, it's official in the sense that they use that for the box art, but I don't think they ever. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they ever talk about an official. I don't think there's like an official in lore color scheme for it. So I think there's like box art, and maybe there's a couple of pictures of said box art in like a rule book or something. I don't know. I have to look into that more. But yes, I was using pictures and stuff. For these guys, the official scheme is pretty much red panels, hornet panels, maybe some black panels, maybe Hornet and Black halved panels, and then there's official box art somewhere. Official, not box art. There's official artwork out there where there was just a panel somewhere painted blue on a much bigger Titan, not this Titan. Um, the artist said in like an interview or whatever, the artist basically said, I could be wrong. This is what I heard. He painted that blue panel to break up all the red and all the hazard, not hazard Hornet. He did that to break it all up, and but of course, like Star Wars, there's a mention of something. There's a character on the screen, so we got to have lore for it. So the widely there's a couple of different lore reasons that you could use. None of it's official, but the one of the things that they say is it's some kind of battle honors. It's for some campaign or something. So for me, I've been painting a blue panel on all of my first Titans of that class, right? So my first, did I do one for this guy? Yeah, I did. So not class, first Titan of that um name type. So I've got a Warhound that has that. I've got a Reaver that has that. I've got a Warlord that has that. I'm not gonna. My other Warlord isn't gonna have that blue panel. My other Warlord for this Legio isn't gonna have that blue panel. My War Master has it. If I do another War Master, which I may not, it won't have that. If I do another Reaver, I will do another Reaver. I won't have any more Reavers with that, and I won't have any more other stuff. Okay, so let's. That's right. We're talking about this real quick. So first thing I did was paint it lead belcher. I primed it black this time because I ran out of the lead belcher primer, which is more expensive than regular primer. So I painted it lead belcher, and I painted the undersides lead belcher. Everything that was going to be metal, I painted lead belcher. Just slathered it on. Now for the other Titans, I then did the rest of the metal colors. So this bronze color that I have on this thing, which is a Balthazar gold. That color, that's right. That color here, here, and here. And then I did this other color, which I think is Warplock bronze. Just do a little bit of that to break up all the metallic. For this guy, because I want him to have a darker look to him, and he kind of does. Could also be because he's got a lot of black panels. I did a wash of Nuln Oil, which is a darker wash, it's a black wash. Agrax Earthshade is a brown wash. So I did that right after I did the metallics, and I gave it like 2 coats of that, trying to really get it dark. Um, I don't think it worked as well as I don't think it worked the way I wanted it to work, but whatever. It did work. It did do something. I am going to, when I finish all of the metallics, minus the gold trim of everything, I'm gonna then go back and do that Agrax Earthshade wash, the brown wash. So it'll have the same treatment as this guy, except for the extra step of the Nuln Oil wash. Then I would normally paint all these panels, right? And what I'll do is I'll do a coat of yellow, just the base coat of yellow, just to kind of map out like, all right, I want this panel, this panel. These are the panels I want to be that way. It takes a couple of layers before I get it to the point where it's good and ready for me to then work on the next part. For this guy, I'm just gonna do them all. I'm gonna go back over and make sure all the panels are black, which most of them are. Most of these panels are already, I primed it black, so they're already black, and I didn't really paint. None of the paint got over it, and none of the paint got where I'm painting on the metallics. None of it really went onto the panel itself to ruin that. These weapons a little bit. Yeah, on the weapons I did. That's really the only place I did. And then I'll do that stimpling in to get it in where I need it to go. Once I'm done with that, then it'll be gold. I'm pretty sure I want to do gold for these trims, just like this guy has. So So all of his panels, all of the Warlord Sinister's panel, Sinister? Is that what it's called? See, this is what I'm talking about for my memory being kind of bad now. I start to forget random stuff in the middle of. Like, I've been calling it a Warlord. Haven't I been saying Warlord Sinister this entire. Yeah, it's a Warlord Sinister. I just randomly forget that I've been. What it is and what I've been saying. So, yeah, all of his panels will be like this, except for with flames. I don't know if I like that. I'm sure it'll look good. I don't know if I like the gold with it. Gold and black looks really good together, so I'm sure it'll be fine. Um, I don't know how gold and black with flames is going to look though, but we'll see. We'll see. And yeah, and then I do the base. The base comes last, which is part of the reason why this dude is. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see it. His base is kind of his right foot is not attached to the base at all. Um, I don't know why that is. I put plenty of glue down there. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I forgot. Interesting. Thankfully, the left foot's holding on to it. So, yeah, so that's the process. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Am I up to date? Did I cover all the questions? Yeah, cool. I think I got everything. Awesome. I appreciate the questions and comments. Everybody participate in chat. I really don't have anything to talk about the entire time I'm painting. Otherwise, um, I had some stuff that I said earlier in the video, and I don't remember what everything was anymore. I had some stuff I came here to talk about, and I covered it. Oh, I was talking about like what we're gonna see this year for Legions Imperialis. Purely speculative with guesstimations. But yeah, I got a D&D session for tomorrow that's all ready to go. I'm gonna TPK the entire party. No, I'm not. Not that kind of guy. They're gonna TPK themselves. Probably not. They probably won't TPK themselves. They're actually pretty strong. They're hard to kill. And I'm only really saying that stuff because Chrono in here is in my D&D game. And so is James. So I'm just trying to cause them to have little panic attacks. The code to the vault is 37698. Messing with them. Okay. So I think I'll do a little bit of that bronze colory, the dark bronze back here. No. I don't want to do that. What is this piece supposed to be? Because it kind of looked like for a minute, for like the last 2 hours, I was thinking that this thing down here at the bottom, you can't see it. I was thinking that was like a magazine, right? And I realized that can't be what it like a rifle. That can't be what it is because this is the ammo back here. This is a big drum for it. Yeah. I don't feel like you can hold a lot of bullets in there. For the size of these holes, I don't feel like there's a lot of ammo back in that thing. I don't know if I want to break that up any. And I don't know what that's supposed to be. That looks weird there. I'm gonna I think that piece was supposed to be a little bit more shaved down. Well, that doesn't really answer anything. Alright. Well, I'm gonna try and do it anyway. I hope everyone's having a good night or good morning. Or good morning. It's about morning for you, yeah? No, I changed my mind. I don't want to do that. That'll ruin it. I'm not about that life. What was I about to do over here? I feel like I was about to paint something. I feel like I had an idea of something I wanted to put on it, and now I don't want to do that. Nope. I was about to ruin something. Okay. I feel like I had an idea, and it is gone. Gone like the wind. I'm the expert. I think psychic weapons, or you think psychic weapons for Psi Titans should have a pink glow or pink orb. Um, yeah, no, it could. You said no to bronze. You wanted to break up the colors, though. Yeah, I don't know what I wanted to do. Well, no, I wanted to do one thing, but I think I had another idea that I didn't mention, and very the thing that I was saying I was gonna do. As soon as I was about to do it, I decided I didn't like that idea. And so you all are left having only heard the thing I wanted to do that I now don't want to do. I don't remember what the other thing was that I thought was also a good idea. Yeah, so this weapon, not a psi weapon. This thing, psi weapon. It should probably have some kind of a red glow to it, though. Not pink. Ooh, there's a pipe there. Let's do that. You know what? I think I have a great idea. And I'm going to start on this idea, but the other color isn't metal, so I'm not going to be able to finish it. I'm gonna have to remember this idea. So my idea is I'm gonna paint this Warplock bronze. Warplock or Warlock? Warplock. I'm gonna paint this Warplock bronze into these little things here. Yeah? And then I'm gonna give it a glaze or a shade of red, of some kind of red, to have those have a little bit of something extra on the edges of them, which will kind of give it a little semi of a glow. And you know what? If I paint that in there, that'll kind of. If I paint that in there, that kind of fixes that a little. Nope, I don't like it. Not gonna do that. Just gonna do the other idea. Just the other idea. White lightning instead of red. Hmm. For what? White lightning for what? I don't think I said anything about lightning though. Lighting? Oh, you said lighting. I thought you said lightning. I'm reading at this weird angle. I got my computer tilted forward so that you can see this more than see me. But you are seeing a lot of me right now. But that's fine. Can you guys tell that there's music playing? There's a little bit of background music. I got my phone playing it. I hope the answer is yes, because I've been playing it this entire time. It'd be really awkward. You're like, nope. When you're not talking, dead silence. That's 2 hours of dead silence. Oh, somebody just pinged me. My headphones actually way too loud. So I paint this in here. Also, I can kind of hear my kids being a little loud. I hope you guys can't hear that. That was not meant to be part of the tour. See what this says real quick. Okay. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Thank you for that reminder. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go with a little bit of red. A little bit of red. I don't want to put white on it. I feel like that's gonna white is really hard to paint, and B, I feel like white might clash with everything else. Where I'm putting it will kind of give this dark, sinister-y feel, as opposed to oh, okay. You did say lightning. I thought you were saying lighting. Okay. So, fun story. Way back in the times of World of Warcraft, which I guess is still a thing, but back when I played it, there was a server called Lightning something, Lightning Strike, Lightning Cloud. I don't know, Lightning Claw. I don't know. It couldn't have been Lightning Claw. Lightning something. I don't know. There was a guild, the most popular of all, the big bad horde guild named themselves after the server. So I think the server was, let's say, Lightning Claw or Lightning Strike. I don't remember what it was named. They had named themselves after the server, but they forgot the N, and it was so they were Lightning Claw instead of Lightning Claw, and that was hilarious to all the people that weren't in the guild. Because how long did they have that guild name before somebody pointed out to them, "Hey, this actually isn't this actually isn't the server name. You guys misspelt it." Can't be comprehended when you're talking. Music is quiet, but can be heard. So if I turn music up, then your voice is painfully loud when you break silence. Okay, so should I turn the music on the should I turn the background music up louder? I mean, it's supposed to be there. I just don't know. I don't want it too loud, but I don't want it too soft. And I need to drown out the kids that are getting louder by the moment. A bit late now, though, I suppose. The damage has been done. I forgot to do that side too. I'm listening to like pirate AI rock or something. I don't know. I can't confirm that it's made by AI, but I feel like it's made by AI. Because I feel like it'd be kind of awkward to have this video of me painting models and there's no music. But to be fair, I did pick a kind of weird time of the day to even start filming, so I suppose that's fair. Oh, and I've got. Hold on. I need to mute myself. All right, and we're back. Okay, that's cool. Lightbringer, Lightning's Blade, or Lightning Hoof are realms. I was on the first, eventually, anyway. It wasn't Lightbringer. It might have been Lightning Blade. Was it Lightning's Blade, though? I feel like it was Lightning Blade. It might have been Lightning's Blade. Or maybe it was Lightning Hoof. I don't know. I can't remember. Not going to dwell on it too much. The moral of the story here is these guys named their guild after the server, and they failed to do it properly, which was funny. And it's okay to laugh at them because they were like killing noobs and stuff. I oh hmm. 1 minute 30 second behind. Should I turn up the music? Should I turn it up just a little bit? Hope this comes out the way I'm expecting it to come out. Might have been better if I had done it differently. Whoops. Whoops, whoops, whoops. No, definitely wasn't Lightning Hoof then. We're narrowing it down. I'm pretty sure it was Lightning Blade. It was one of the. I don't know if it was an original server, but I feel like it was one of the original servers. I don't know how long had the game been going on before I joined. Man, it's weird because I know that game's still out there and I know I can still go play it, and it just will not be the same as it was playing it back then. Playing it back when it had just come out, when I was younger. I think my brother still plays it. Maybe on and off, I don't know. But like I tried. I think I tried at one point and I was just like, nope, not for me. All right. This is looking so awesome. And I think I might put a little bit of gold. I might give this guy a little bit more attention and love than the other Titans. Because it's a special Titan. I don't know. I've only named one of my Titans, and I feel like that is a shame and possibly a crime. And I know I've said its name in a video. I can't remember the order that its name was in. Helianthus Ursa or Ursa Helianthus. I'm not sure which one I said, but Helianthus is sunflower, and then Ursa, of course, is bear slash great warrior, I think. I don't know. But I feel like sunflower bear makes more sense than bear sunflower. So maybe I should have it be Helianthus Ursa. I think that might be the right way to have its name go. So I think I'll do that. I think it'll be Helianthus Ursa. And that, of course, is for my big War Master Heavy Battle Titan. I still need a name for that guy. I need a name for that guy. I need a name for those three. And I don't know where the Reaver is. He's somewhere. He's somewhere. Reaving around. I really thought I was going to get further in with my painting by now. We're already on the second month of the year. Man, it's kind of crazy to think about that. Sci-Titan names and lore kind of suck. Going off notable lexicon. What are some Sci-Titan names in the lore? What are some of the official names? Obviously, I'm not gonna. My guy's not gonna be one of the official guys. I'm gonna have to give him his own name. He's gonna have to be his own thing, his own badassery. I should name him Gypsy Danger. That's an awesome name that no one's used before. No, it's been used before. That was a terrible joke. Terrible, terrible joke. What was I about to do? I kind of want to do this. I kind of want to try something here. Let me see how I like it. Oh, this is horribly not. Okay, that's cool. Is that what I want to do? Is that the color I want to use? I haven't used this color in forever. Borealis Thune. Polaris Albedilac? Oh, the first half of each name is a region on Terra. Okay, so Borealis is a region on Terra. Polaris. Occidentalis. Orientalis. Those are all regions. So a proper Psi Titan's name could then be something like Americanus somethingness, or Europus Secundus, things like that. That makes for some interesting. If I choose to stick with that naming trend, I don't know what the regions are. Are those current region names, or are those like made up 40k region names? because that kind of matters. And I'll have to decide how I want to proceed with that. I don't know if I'm liking this idea. I've got an idea. I'm trying something crazy here. The Warlord Sinister operates from 4 independent chambers, each comprising 5 modified Warlord Side Titans, operating from a fortress crypt on Terra. These fortresses are based in the Occidental. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, so I have to pick one of those. I don't like those. I don't like any of those names. Let's see how this works. Oh, about as awful as I thought it would. This paint that I'm using now, I stopped using many moons ago because it does a terrible job at trying to cover anything and get a good coat on. And I had forgotten that was why I stopped using it. And now I am being reminded. It kind of looks different. This is awful. This was a terrible idea. Why did I go and have to try to mix things up? Why did I? I just couldn't leave well enough alone. And now I must live with the consequences of my foolishness. Much as Icarus flew too close to the sun, so too have I doomed myself. Well, if you ever find yourself with Gehenna's gold, and you're wondering if that's what you need, you don't. And that is the moral to this story. Let me be the guinea pig for you. Learn from my mistakes. But Crown, you're still using it. Well, it changed it just enough that I have to keep going. But it didn't change it enough that this was worth the time that I'm now putting into it. You ever heat your blooms on your barrels? Yeah, I've done that. It looked like it had been dipped in milk, not tried since. Not in. You're my. Okay, so those are volcano cannons. I didn't do it for them. Let me check. Let me check something. See if I can find a. I didn't do it for them. I don't know where my guys are. Okay. I did it. All right. This isn't necessarily the same thing. Valdor. I'm sorry, not a Valdor. Malcador Infernus. You can kind of see the tip of it. I have darkened somehow. And I don't remember how. And that is a problem because now, if I ever want to make more of those, I have to do the same thing. And I don't remember what I did there. So that's an interesting problem. Yeah. Interesting. I wouldn't have been surprised if you had told me that they all got wiped out in the Horus Heresy and thus are not present again in the future. Titans used to be prior to the Horus Heresy. Titans were something that you could have a whole bunch of um, in your you can count on a whole bunch of them to be in your in these big battles, and then the Horus Heresy happens, and they get hit hard. Never mind, half of them went traitor. The ones that were left had to then fight those traitor halves, and they get decimated. They get hit so bad by it that their numbers just never really recover. Because then you're only able to train up and build so many new ones at a time. You're still using the ones you've got available to you and you're losing them. So you never really recover, if you can afford to just not use them for a while, um, and rebuild their numbers, you can probably get back up there, but you can't afford to not use them. You got to use them. Yeah, blending is difficult, and every bit of it, every time you do it, it's going to come out differently if you don't do it the same way. I put gold onto a trim, and it's going to be gold on a trim. But if I blend things, now it's going to be different. And I don't remember how I did that in Furnace, and I don't know how I'm going to ever try to do it again. I also painted some other stuff on this thing with different colors and stuff that I don't have. I put I put these things on the side. I don't know what they are. I don't know if you can see those. I got like some green ammo crates or something, and some sort of like tarp or something that's brown up here, and some gas canisters that instead of doing red, I did like a tan color. So maybe not gas canisters. Those are probably water canisters. Thank you. I don't remember how I did it. I don't remember what I did for that. I might have written it down. I have a book for all the paints that I use, and I might have written that recipe down. I don't think I did. I think the methods of how I painted that have been lost to the warp. And I only have the two Infernuses, and I would like to get two more. So that is a problem. That is a real problem. Okay. Okay, so this gold. I don't know if you can see it there. I put Gehenna's gold on this, and I got Balthasar gold. This is Balthasar gold. So I painted Gehenna's gold over the Balthasar gold that was there, right? This section here. I don't know if you can check it. I don't know if you can tell that there's a difference between these two. I can kind of tell, depending on the light. It's a very subtle, fine difference, which makes it kind of not worth that I did it. But it's there. I can kind of notice it. Did you paint the Infernus in an older stream? I don't typically paint in stream. I think this is the first time I've painted in stream. I did 3 streams last year for um for building the Malcador, the War Master Heavy Battle Titan. And I might have started to paint it in the last stream. I don't remember. Um, I had to stop. I had to stop because I had cancer right around then. So I started doing chemotherapy. So I stopped streaming. I stopped all videos. I stopped painting. I stopped doing everything. I couldn't do it. The chemo was killing me. Literally. Um, I'm sure that I have the Malcador Infernus in a Gray Penance video. And the Gray Penance videos, I don't know if I don't know how much you've watched, but I didn't realize who I was talking with. I might have talked about those videos back then for Gray Penance, which I haven't done the Gray Penance in a minute. I'm gonna shift those more to talking about tactics. When I do them, I need to. I got another battle report to post up, which I would have done this week, but I'm working a lot this week, and then the weather means that I'm working a lot as well. So like I'm working more a lot. I don't know. So probably like this is the video for the week, I think. Um, but just not enough time. I got another battle report. I'll post that up next week, and then I think I'll do Great Penance again. But I'm getting so sidetracked. I'm so scatterbrained right now. Yeah, I think I might have talked about how I did some of the stuff, but I don't think I talked about all that stuff. I might have written it down. I'll look through my notes. I might have written it down, and then the world is saved. But I don't think I talked about how I did that blend. So when I do the next set, they're going to have a different blend. I think it's kind of got a bit of a green to it. I think that might be. I think that glaze that I did for that blend, I think it might be a watered down version of. I think it might be a watered down Black Templar contrast. So I think that's what I'll do. I think I'll just try to do that. Yeah. You know what they say, Roy, Pirate Roy, Captain Roy. I feel like just addressing you as Roy is kind of. I feel like I gotta. No, what am I doing? I'm not supposed to be painting that. No. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so that failure aside, you know what they say, Roy. Practice makes perfect or something. Okay, so I gotta fix that. Let's fix that now. I don't like that I just did that. I don't like that goof at all. So I'm gonna fix that before I get any further. I just started to paint the barrels. I only wanted to paint the portion here in that color. And I just started painting when I finished it and I said, okay, that's good. I then turned around and started painting the front part of it the wrong color. Oh, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? Lots is wrong with me. The real question is, what's not wrong with me? That sounds wrong. Let's let's change the topic. Let's change the topic. So what's everybody painting tonight? We got some guard being painted. I see there's some we get some more people in the stream now than we had earlier, so I don't think I know what those guys are painting. Yeah, I don't like that at all. Okay. That was another mistake. Okay. Back to this. Too much water. Too much water. Drilling. Pin, glues, repeat. What? Drilling, pin. Gloss, repeat. Glue? I'm assuming that's supposed to say glue. Unless gloss is slang that I don't know of. That is a thing. This one. Glue. Oh, okay. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. You're not drilling barrels, though, are you? Weren't you? I'm sorry. I feel like I had already asked. You're working on Sisters of Battle. You're drilling and pinning the. Well, I don't know if you're pinning everything, but it sounded like you were pinning that throne thing. Yeah. We were talking about pinning barrels earlier. See, I listen. I care. I pay attention to everybody. Yeah, that guy. That guy. Yeah, so he was in a battle report, and he killed the Wolf Lord. And in the battle report, they were like, "Oh, I had to get rid of that heretic, Wolf Lord." But then when he got down, they were like, "Oh," and they teleport, and that's when it's time to teleport out of the way. It's like, come on, man. The Wolf Lord could have teleported out of the way too. You can't have your guy be invincible. You can't take away the kill from the other team while claiming you got all your kills. That doesn't seem right. But in it, they talked about this guy talked about how he was building how he like came up with his army list or whatever. And he said something about like he likes to put these themes to his army list. I read this years and years ago, right? This was an old was it chapter approved or was it White Dwarf? I think it was White Dwarf. Chapter approved was something else. So the Space Wolf player was talking about how he had been watching when he makes his armies. I don't know if it's when he makes his armies or this time when he made his army. Um, he was watching like this movie with samurais, not the Last Samurai, or maybe it was the Last Samurai, but it kind of like gave him the inspiration of like this Space Wolf commander, this Wolf Lord battle leader, right? Looking out over his men and being given, the Wolf Priest has this vision, and he has to assemble his army and go to this place to do this battle. And that's where he kind of came up with like, what units am I going to have? These guys represent those guys, and this represents that, and this and this and that, right? So I mimicked that, and I based my Space Wolf army at the time off of Lord of the Rings, the Battle for Helm's Deep, and my Space Wolves were the Urukai. So to represent the. So I had 15 a 15-man Blood Claw unit in a Land Raider Crusader, which could hold 15 guys, and that represented the guys with the shields going up the bridge, up the not the bridge, up the ramp. I had Long Vangs to represent the dude shooting the crossbows and everything, right? Um, and then I had a unit of Blood Claws, and I had bought a whole bunch. No, I didn't need a whole bunch. They could take like 2 power weapons or whatever, right? And back then, power weapons were power weapons. No, you could have different power weapons. I had bought a bunch of Grey Knights, metal Grey Knights, which had these spears to kit bash them and to have these Blood Claws with jump packs, the assault squad, with these spears. I think I needed like 2 boxes. I think it had like 4, right? So I had the squad leader and then 3 of the guys with power weapons, I think. Um, so they had these spears. Um, and then I had blood Gray Hunters. I had a bunch of different stuff to represent a bunch of different things. I don't remember. And that was my army. And my friend played like 100 man in a 2,000 point list. He played like 100 Space Marines. Just 100 Space Marines was his army list. No upgrades, nothing. Just 100 Space Marines and maybe some heavy weapons and stuff. And he got into close combat turn 1 with my brother, and my brother was playing Tau, and my brother never played again. Because back then in 3rd edition, uh, you couldn't shoot into or through close combat, and close combat was also infinitely high. So because he got into close combat turn 1, my brother kind of might have been my brother's first time playing. I don't know. He had collected up this big Tau new, so he collected up this big Tau army, and had a couple of recruit, but he put a bunch of stuff up close. Had a bunch of stuff that was up closer or whatever. I don't know why he did it that way. There was a tower in the midfield of the thing, so he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take this tower," and gets into close combat turn 1. Well, now you can't shoot anything else behind it, and that meant everything else was charging the next turn, and it was just a massacre. I think it would have been fun if my brother had. I got really into Warhammer. My brother did not. I think it would have been fun if he had been more into it and been playing this kind of stuff. No matter how much paint I put on my brush, it's never enough. Trying to use just a little bit because I don't need much more. And I keep ending up using nothing. I think at one point I used to use this for my, this used to be my gold recipe. My recipe to make gold used to include this color. And I haven't they've come out with some new paints, and I haven't used this in forever. I just realized it was just not good. I used to start doing my gold used to be like 15-step process, starting with 10 bits, which doesn't even exist anymore. I think Warplock Bronze is pretty close to 10 bits. But I could be wrong. Start with 10 bits, and then you do a wash, and then you do these other gold colors, then you come up, and then you do another wash, and then you mix the gold with some silver, and then you mix the gold with more silver, and then you mix silver with gold because you're now mixing so much of it. You just keep layering it on. It was such a long process. And then they came out with Retributor armor, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's the one. Just put that on it. And of course, for all the trim on these things, I don't even care. I'm not doing all those colors. I don't even do a wash on the gold parts because I got to do the trim after I do everything else because everything else is going to kind of make a mess of it, of that trim. So just do it this way. Okay. That's cool. Very slight difference to everything else. But it does have a difference. So I kind of like it. You know what? You know what? Let's do that here too. Let's do that on this weapon. I'm feeling a little spicy with it. I kind of like it. It was awful, and it didn't do much, and it just took however long. It just took the last 30 minutes to do all that. But I kind of like it. Now that's finished. After I put enough coats on it. So let's do this here. I'm just going to put it in this middle section here. And I'm going to do that. Alright, my next battle report. I got one more battle report filmed already. Filmed, ready to go. I just got to edit it up. I'll post that. I'll probably post that next week. Maybe I'll post it sooner if I can find the time, which I'm probably not going to. I'm probably not going to have time to finish it. I like that. That looks nice. The one after that, the next battle report that I do, the next one I go to play, the next game I'm gonna go play, I'm gonna play some Mechanicum. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do Mechanicum with a bunch of Titans. Not Titans. Knights. I'm gonna do Mechanicum and Knights. You miss painting? What? Do you not have anything to paint? I love painting. I spend a lot of time painting. I think painting is probably the thing I do the most in this hobby. I probably paint more than I play. But okay, so welcome to the chat, Victor. Okay, so Mechanicum and Knights. Not too many Knights. Just the right amount. And probably a Titan. I don't know. My opponent plays a lot of Titans. Which is good. He doesn't have any aircraft. So I don't need to worry about aircraft. And he typically doesn't have a lot of infantry. So I don't need to worry about Titans and Knights. Their biggest weakness is infantry can do circles around him, right? I won't have to worry about that because he won't have a lot of infantry. So I also need to not take a lot of infantry because if I take a bunch of infantry, it's not really a fair game. And if it's not fair game, then it's not really a fun game, right? That looks good. How does that look for you guys? You guys can barely tell. It might look better for you guys than it does for me. Where am I going? Where's the light? What do you think about that? I don't know if that really. I don't know if you can see the difference. Why don't I come over there under this light? No, that's too bright. I hope this lighting hasn't been painful for anybody. I hope this is. Because I can't make out what I'm trying to look at, what I'm trying to show you guys. Too bright. That's garbage. That is hard to. That is hard to get any kind of. It'll look better in photo. Yeah, better than pure gray. Thanks. Thanks. All this stuff behind me, all that pure gray. So I'll take some. I'll take some tanks. Take some tanks. I'll take a few titans. Maybe I'll just take not titans. Knights. I'm gonna take knights. I have so much mechanicum and knights to pick from. If I wanted to make an army with upload photo via YouTube post. Yeah. I'll upload that, and I'll upload some pictures of it, and I'll upload pictures of it, and then you guys can see it. You'll just have to come back and look. Yeah, and there's a. Do I still have a link? Here's a link to the. Anybody who wants. Here's a link to our Discord server. If you guys want to. If you guys want to see, I post pictures there too. If you want to share pictures with me or with each other, that's the place to do it. Yeah, there's a few people in there already. It's not much, not a huge server, but people have fun in there. Yeah, that's my sales pitch for it. That's all you get. There's my elevator pitch. Yeah. Victor, what do you paint? All right, where am I at? What am I doing here? Let's put some retributor armor on this thing. Let's get a little bit more gold going. This is starting to see. It's these weapons have a lot going on for them now, and I like that. But it's kind of weird though because like the legs are like I don't have any secondaries on it. The leg is just a leg. It's just that one color, and then there's these bronze. I put bronze on any of the hydraulics pistons, hydraulic pistons. And that's really it. That's really all the only thing they've got to differentiate themselves with. So it's kind of. But I guess you see more of the weapons. The legs are covered up with panels, so I guess it doesn't matter. All right. Hey, thanks for coming in, Chrono. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. And then I don't know how that works. Oh, that's interesting. You went from the number that last message before you headed off. You went from the number 3 poster to the number 2 poster. That's cool. I didn't know that it did this. I don't know if that's a new thing or not, but that's cool. Um, Top chat. I didn't want to see top chat. I wanted to see all chat. Am I not seeing all chat? All messages are visible? I hope I haven't been missing chats. That would be upsetting. It doesn't look like I am, though. That's cool. Okay, cool. So, let's shake that up a bit. I don't know if you guys have a paint shaker. Oh man, this thing's a lifesaver. Is it really 9:30? Oh my goodness. All right, we're gonna finish up with this, and then we're gonna terminate this live stream. Okay, so that actually didn't shake very well because there's barely any paint left in here. Okay. That actually really didn't shake very well. Kind of looks like a tiger eye though. Tiger eye, the precious stone. That's not gonna get that. This is. And we'll do a wash of this later. I'm not gonna wash it tonight because it'd have to dry, which doesn't take too long. But whenever I paint with metallics, I wash my brushes really good, and I clean out the paint water really good because the metallic paint will contaminate the non-metallic paint with the little bits of metallics. 10:30 a.m. Thursday here. Hello from the future. Yes. So 13 hours ahead of me. I was on a work trip once to Bali, Indonesia, and I think I was 13 hours ahead then as well. I think, are you in the same time zone as Bali, Indonesia? Of course, I don't think you might not do the time change like we do. So it might be that during certain times of the year, Bali, Indonesia is 13 hours ahead of us, and certain times of the year, you're 13 hours ahead of us. I don't know. But yeah, so that was fun to send messages to Crayola telling her how it was 13 hours. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was sending her messages saying, this is from the future. Ooh, don't bet on the lottery today. I don't know. I feel like I should put a little splash of gold on this, but maybe I won't. Did I on the volcano cannons? I did. Oh no. Nah, no, not gonna do it. What about over here? Get this off. Oh. Okay. I've got gold on my palette. I want to use the gold on my palette. I want to put gold somewhere on you. There is nowhere to put gold. What about up here? Could do that. Let's do that. See how that looks. It's a little changed, and you know what? It is psychic stuff, so got to do something there. Okay, it's a good thing I'm working a little bit later tomorrow, because otherwise I'd be very upset that I'm going to bed so late. I typically go to work at 5 in the morning, so 9:30 kind of like cuts into my 8 hours of sleep. So don't judge me for saying that 9 is early. Um, thank God I'm not working at the place where I was going in at 2 in the morning. That was miserable. I basically had to go to bed at like 6 or something. I had to go to bed stupid early. It was still daytime out. It was still birds and stuff making noise and cars driving by and stuff and kids being loud in the house because they don't know any better, Trying to tell them that I gotta go to bed. I gotta go to bed before they even get home, right after they get home from school. So, yeah, that was miserable. So, all right, I'm gonna post some pictures. Not right now. I'll post some pictures here in tomorrow or something. Yeah. Um, you know what? I'll post pictures now. I'll post pictures as soon as we end this live stream. Um, showing where we got, how we're looking, and yeah, I appreciate everybody who stopped by to watch. I appreciate everybody who chatted. If you didn't want to chat and you just kind of watched from the shadows, that's fine too. That's fine too. Um, I had a good time though. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and yeah, I'm gonna post those pictures. I'll see you guys next time. Unfortunately, it's just really late. Uh, and hopefully I can we'll see some more videos coming up soon. We'll get some more stuff going. I'm a bit slow about posting videos because I'm not doing this for work or anything. This is like a part-time thing. Um, and I gotta divide my time amongst other stuff too. I gotta paint, gotta play. Otherwise, there's nothing for me to video anyway. So yeah, it just is what it is. But have a good night, or in your case, Roy, have a good day. You'll get to the weekend quicker than the rest of us, and for that you are lucky. I will see you all next time. This has been Eagle Spire Gaming. Thanks for flying by.